number of data points just coming out here to kick things off so far this morning. We're awaiting initial jobless claims for last week, the week of July 19th. We'll get to that in a sec. Chicago Fed National Activity Index, meanwhile, -10 versus -16 reading expected. There it is. Initial jobless claims, 217,000, a little lower than expected. 225,000 was the expectation there, 1.95 million on the continuing claims, basically in line with expectations. 4-week average, 224,000 versus 231 expected. Canadian retail sales just out as well, absolutely in line with expectations, -1.1% on the retail side of things here in this country. That, meanwhile, is how the market is shaping up here this morning on the back of a big move from Google back to the upside after an initial move down last night on more spending to come for the AI build-out. Specifically for Google. We'll touch on their earnings coming up. Tesla, everyone talking about this one already, downside in a pretty big way here. Elon basically saying they're basically all in on AI and robotics at this point and expecting many more negative quarters to come on the automotive side specifically as demand seems to be dwindling even further. So not good for Tesla. I mean, it could have been a lot worse. Let's be honest, 6% is 6%, but it could have been a lot worse. 85 billion, a big number though for Alphabet.
A lot of money, as Donald Trump likes to say, Brendo. Yeah, big money there, increasing from the 75 they had guided earlier. They've already spent over $30 billion quarter year to date so far. There's a lot to talk about today, Brendo. AVGO, Broadcom getting a nice boost because they are Google's largest AI chip supplier. So as Google spends more money, who stands to benefit? You guessed it, Broadcom. IBM also reporting down markedly here, 6.5%. ServiceNow also reporting yesterday almost 8% in the clear here, Brendo. And then some of the airlines, AAL and UAL, and not the good, weaker demand and higher cost.
Which is a little bit surprising considering some of the moves that those have had over the past couple of months. I mean, some of these, it seems like every time Google reports earnings, we sit here and are just in awe of some of these numbers, and this one is no different. I mean, they're 1.6. I was reading this morning. Their 1.6 billion purchase price of YouTube is now bringing in 40 billion worth of revenue in a quarter. It's mind-boggling.
They always come after Google. You're jack of all trades, master of none. Well, they're kind of master of all of them.
Yeah.
You know? They don't execute poorly.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, they're going to spend more because they have to at this point, guys. But market seems to like it anyway. So good luck for Google. Good morning.
Oh,
good morning.
UNH making quite a nice move. There's some news here.
There's news on UNH. They're addressing a civil and criminal investigations by the Department of Justice, and right back down into 280 UNH.
Wow.
So we're not shy of catalysts today. There's about a million things reporting earnings, and UNH is right back to the downside. So that's the story. They're addressing civil and criminal investigations by the DOJ, UNH. Well, we get to have plums, but UNH, yikes, they're getting something brown. Lemons, whatever you want to call it. No, that stock's been beaten up. Google, fantastic. Love it. And it's even better for what it means for the data center spend. So great for Broadcom. It's going to be good for the energy names as well. But yikes, UNH still dropping here, everybody.
Yeah, UNH 279 and change going lower. UNH is low, 248. I mean, we're not going to get to that. But yeah, it looks like it wants to break right now. Yuck for this name. And this is why to me, man, you can't catch these falling knives. And you know, it hasn't passed the 50-period moving average yet, and it looks like it doesn't want to. And you know, this is just another story. We'll have to wait to see how it all plays out. But there goes UNH. Yeah, good call there by Sharif. Sort of, you know, we were all worried about the search. Doesn't look like it's going to be that much of a worry at all. We're really happy with it. Again, Google just continues to move higher now, and we might have to trim some more as this keeps getting bigger and bigger into the portfolio. You guys know that we were able to get some out down here at 160. That was wrong. But now it's up to 200 again, Randy, as Google continues to work it out, man. Everyone worried about search. YouTube almost puts up a monster number, almost as much revenue as Netflix there for YouTube. So they're huge. Gemini still, Tesla's down 6%. Gemini continues to be used, I guess, 450 million daily active users there as well. So nice move there for Google and Gemini. I don't know if this is daily active, monthly active. At the end of the day, better numbers there for Gemini, for Google. So yeah, it's a good one, man. And normally you don't like to go long when you've been up 10 straight days into the print, but here we go, man. Looking at a high take here for Google. It's going to be obviously on the sticky note as we get ready to rock and roll for that. So yeah, the UNH stuff kind of sucks, man. Trading Lord company discloses it has reached out to the DOJ after reports of investigation certain aspects into its Medicare program. The company said it's begun complying into formal requests. So yeah, so there it goes. 280, 270. We'll see what happens here with UNH. But yeah, it's going to be a good day. The market's still up again, like record closes yesterday in the S&P 500, yet record closes in the Nasdaq. The Dow up 500 points
Can't
yesterday.
be stopped, man.
The Dow won't be happy with this UNH news, but oh, this one's
I don't know why
this
there's
one's a little bit
three.
hard. No, because I didn't eat mine yesterday.
Oh, okay.
It felt like it was way too soft, but this
It was way too soft.
one feels a little bit
Like
better.
it was so soft. Like yesterday, it was like someone was like throwing it on the ground or something to soften it up. I don't know. So I didn't even. I had like 2 bites of mine and I had to throw it out. But looks a little bit better today. Tesla doesn't look very good. Obviously, missing the top and bottom isn't going to be a good thing. And then Elon Musk on the call, you know, he had a pretty cautious tone talking about the next couple of quarters. So they're down 6 points. I know Brendan said it could be worse. Yeah, we've seen Tesla down 10% before. It's got some room. It loses the 50 in the 200 period, which it had just regained. So clearly this is going to be on watch. Don't forget the chips. I know we're all talking about Google, but don't forget about the chips today and some of the sympathy plays. Because in the aftermarket show, you saw the first thing, like Google reported, and almost the second that CapEx number came out, it was like a gap up on Broadcom, NVIDIA, AMD, and the like. Of course, so there's a lot to be watching in here this morning. Chipotle is probably the biggest loser, I think. I mean,
It was 11%, yeah.
yeah, it was 11%.
Still?
There's always smaller names that maybe there was something out there. Don't get, whoops, CMG, not CMG.
Yeah, wrong.
Yeah, CMG. They're down 12%, right down into almost that 45 level. I'm looking for continuation short, but hey, if you go to the 52-week low and you're down over double digits here, then I would look for that mean reversion play off of these lows. It's got to get all the way down to about 44.5 to hit the April low. Ugh, you don't want to be at the April lows when the market's at the highs. It's telling you something.
Your symbol there is like my bank account, missing an M in there. So yeah.
I just typed too fast.
Have to watch out for that. Yeah, it should be a good one. I'm still watching this UNH. I mean, this might get worse before it gets any better. So right now, 280, still trying to go lower here. Normally, you'll get like a little bit of a rebound once the story hits and people sort of ask, you know, shoot first, ask questions later, but it looks like the questions are still coming in here on UNH. So watch out for a 278 break lower right now. It kind of reminds me of another health play that I want to get into, Oscar. I've liked this one. It's now near that 200 period, if not a little bit below. Or no, do we bounce off of it? Right there, a good little level. I wasn't here to trade that 14 bottom, but that was a great little spot there because you could go long 14 and then wait out for 11s down there as a worst case scenario. You've already sort of made that $2 right there back up into $16. I really like Oscar Health right now back down into this area. So just reminded me about that. And then Eli Lilly was the name that we switched over from Google into Eli Lilly. So we're long this at 750. And pretty happy with that play as well. We'll wait to see if Eli Lilly can break above this 820 marker. But it's been a good one. I actually put last night, I put some bids down lower for Apple. Apple's one of the only Mag 7s now that is not anywhere near its highs. So I think it's probably the next one to get that bump up. Obviously, we'll have to wait for earnings on that. Google's still trading underneath market multiples, so that's probably why this has a few days of run in it for sure. So this is going to be the #1 name here on my list today for sure. And then Webull, man. Yesterday we nailed Webull. Yesterday Webull was a great idea. It was my #1 stock yesterday as it went through the roof. Came back into 1650 a couple times yesterday. And gave us those longs. So we'll see today down a little bit here today because we had a nice little run yesterday, but 1650 there for Webull, pulling back just a little bit right now. I don't know why this thinks it's down on the day when Webull closed. Well, yeah, I guess because of that.
It rallied really late.
Yeah, I guess it's that huge run. Yeah, right there. We went from $17 up to $18 right there at the close. So Webull down, but I think the momentum is definitely in this name. So we like Webull. It's 840 right now. Look, we're excited. The Blue Jays got another big win yesterday. Obviously 8-4 as Chris Bassett pitched amazing.
And the Yankees defense was suspect.
I think he only gave up 3 hits, and all 3 hits were home runs.
Yeah.
And then the Yankees made 4 errors or something like that.
Yeah, you're pretty lucky to win under those circumstances.
The Jays won the series 2-1. They only had 1 home run. Yankees had 7. So it just goes to show that
one of them was the dumbest home run of all time.
pitching and defense. What,
No,
ours or theirs?
No, it was theirs. Like, Judge comes up with first base open with 1 out.
Oh, that was yesterday.
And we're in the third. It's
Yeah,
like,
I know.
I mean, why are you pitching to him? Like, I don't.
They've already walked. They've walked him more than any other.
I know,
team.
but like in that situation, it makes no sense. I remember when our high school coach did the same thing to the best player in the city. It's just like
I think Chris Bassett probably
know.
wanted to pitch to him. I think that's why.
You got to be able to just say this is a silly idea. I don't care if you want to pitch to him.
Yeah, it tied at 4-4.
Yeah,
which
like,
was a problem. And then
he's your problem. The guy's an absolute beast.
and that UNH is still
No, it's
going
still
down,
falling.
man.
Once it, this is you were when you were gone, we would get so many questions about UNH, and it was just like, look, it bounced, it didn't do anything, and when it failed, like this 320 and was just going, there was just no reason to be in this anymore. From that dead cat bounce. Okay, well all it gave you was into 320, and then when it rejected it the second time, there was just nothing going on here. And every time someone was like, well, what do you think about UNH? It's like, look, it's only going sideways until it breaks above here. The downtrend is still pretty much intact, and yeah, more problems with them. There's obviously levels way down from when we got those lows in the 16th, but for now, it's seemingly trying to bounce around that 280 level. Any continuation under that price, and it's got room to 74.
Yeah. All right, let's go back over to the desk. It's 8:42. Lots to cover today.
Good one popping around here. LIDR up big time. This just went 120 to $3. Holding on to $3 right now. It's a 15-minute chart on this. All you got to do is just say NVIDIA, and all is well. So deal with NVIDIA for this little LIDR coming through this morning. Heavy volume behind this already. Maybe one that you might have a look at later on today.
Absolutely, Brendo. It's just got to hold VWAP by the time we get around to the midday show at 11 o'clock. Yeah, nice breakout there above the volume-weighted average price at 270. Nice little bull flag. Yeah, LiDAR obviously in focus. You have Elon talking about autonomous yesterday, Mobileye reporting this morning. So a better time to bring on LiDAR, obviously included in the Google, the Waymo build out there, Brendo, being used by everybody but Tesla.
Yeah, just reading through more on this story. This thing's still going, 330 now, at day high. So heads up on LIDR. Just reading through more on this UNH story. I mean, all it essentially says is they're cooperating fully. Again, this comes back to the billing practices, or quote unquote billing practices with Medicare and Medicaid, how they're actually going about doing so. So they're fully complying with and participating with whatever the DOJ is looking at right now.
Yeah, and it seems like it's just selling off on the acknowledgement of that. Yeah. So it says the company disclosed in a regulatory filing that it had reached out to the DOJ, the Department of Justice, after seeing media reports about the investigations into its Medicare program practices. Obviously, this is going to be in focus as the government looks to save money in Medicare, one of the big focuses here, Brendo.
Another one downside this morning, CMG. A rare miss for CMG, and pointed to, it was the guidance mostly, pointed to demand and just uncertainty going forward. This one just popped up in front of me moments ago there on a day low break, but is trying to bounce a little bit here, but down significantly, 53 down to 46.
Yeah, it's a tough look. Ever since Brian Nichols left, it's kind of been in limbo here. So they're going to continue to open stores and open stores aggressively. 315 to 345 new stores, despite foot traffic being down markedly. Now the price or the cost per bill has increased as a result of some inflation. I'll just give you a quick look here at how they did. EPS 33 pennies, that was in line. Revenue 3.06 billion, that was a miss. So it was a top line miss and a bottom line beat. 3.11 billion that the street was looking for. Same store sales, Brendo, as I mentioned, down 4%, despite a negative print expected of 2.9. But as I mentioned, the average check rose about 1%.
As you said, the daily chart telling that same story here. It's been downside since the beginning of July, really, after that break above 53, guys. We're right back to that earlier resistance area for CMG.
Yeah, and you know what? The crazy thing about CMG is it's really been, if you look at a weekly chart of CMG, it's actually been in a downward trend despite some really, really solid bounces to the upside. Like, it's been holding lower highs and lower lows since about July right in here. And that's the thing, like everyone wanted this to split, and it basically has been downward trending since the split. It was able to get back up to the high. But the 200 period on the weekly chart is at 43. That's the weekly, not the daily. So there's room for it to still go to the downside here before you get to, obvious support is a wick bottom from April, but in that 200 period on the weekly at 43, if you like the company, you want to buy it, I think you got to wait a couple of days in here. My first thought is, to look for, of course we have, I don't know why I'm double checking, but just for my own self, always double check. Of course we'd have locates on Chipotle, but I'm going to be looking to fade. It's already made one bounce in this area, 46. It's going to open, it'll likely be down 10%, so I think you can sometimes get that little bit of a bounce. But the 48 area is the first place I'm looking if we don't actually press down to that 52-week low. Now, I'm just playing for the short side trade here, and if it goes up, we'll play a reversion on Chipotle. Yeah, not a very good look for this name at all. Can't really say much about the food. I've had it like a couple times. I think it's okay. I wouldn't call it great. I wouldn't call it bad. Good portions, but yeah, getting beaten up here bad.
Yeah, I think it's a long down here around this April lows, right? Whoopsies, there's the split. If you're going to look at a daily chart on this thing and a monthly chart, it's just a little pullback. I think you got to take advantage of this. Things were obviously working. It was up to $58 20 days ago, and then obviously someone smelled something in that kitchen, and it was not. I'm gonna fly. This is a big one, right there, and it's already look at all these bottom wicks. There has been buy support down here, so you just got to wait to see if it holds. And I think this is probably going to be a day 3 play. If we can get $44, $45 on Chipotle, I think that's a good one. Here is the daily because ours doesn't show the splits, but if we go over to a monthly chart, what a success story Chipotle Mexican Grill has been. This name, just any sort of a time when you've invested in this, you've been good. And we were just up here. We were just at these highs. So I don't think that there's an opportunity to buy this a little bit lower. We might be getting that right now. This is where we are right here. It's not showing me the adjusted here on the daily, but you're right down into here, 47, 45 bucks. So you're right here, right now on Chipotle. So I think we got to like this, right? So I'm a buyer down here at some point. Let it settle down for the next couple of days. Lower food costs. I don't know if they're coming or not because of what we just talked about with inflation and everything like that, but they mentioned 35.5% now online orders. I think that's pretty good as you get into sort of more away from the high expenses of unfortunately human behind the counter and taking orders and things like that. When we were traveling, most of the orders are now just on touchscreen and things like that. So I think that's pretty big there. Aided by 2024 menu price increases and improved efficiencies. So when you can increase your prices and improve efficiencies, that's pretty good. It's the 4% lower due to transaction volume. That's not good. You want to keep those volumes higher, and obviously they're not able to do that, but neither is McDonald's. McDonald's is actually down as well from its highs. We're not in this name anymore. We're actually able to get out up here, as we could see so many times. These were the highs, and we had mentioned that when it was up here. So, this is another one. If you're going to try to pick something in the space, they're underneath the 200 period and the 50 period moving average as well. The name that seems to be working out of everything might be Cava, CAVA. That's at 91, okay, $88 today, maybe a little bit lower after, so after that, they're feeling a little bit as well. So I think I might pick up some weakness in Cava rather than go over and try to find Chipotle. But Chipotle's at a great spot, man. So I don't know. The space doesn't seem right now. I would stick with the theory of get some Chipotle down here near that $45 range. And then if we break the 52-week low, which is 44, 46, then I think you can wind up getting out of that one. So we'll see what winds up happening here with Chipotle on a downside play. That low is 44, 46. So watch out. I just want to check UNH one more time just to see. I'm not in this name or anything. I'm not even in the space, but UNH still down that 4%. Looks like it's trying to battle off of 280 as well. So yeah, a couple good looks there for Chipotle, McDonald's, Cava, another look at UNH. So.
We'll grab some upgrades and downgrades here with Joe in a couple of seconds. Just looking into this one as well. I saw a couple of people mentioning AEO. Nice move here this morning, coming back in on decent volume. 13 was a bit of a problem there on that last bounce, but AEO up big time. Some of the retail space in general having a pretty good start to the morning here. We haven't gotten into really any of the retail earnings yet, but You got a story on it there.
Yeah, Brendo, you just say Sydney Sweeney, and the stock goes up.
Right.
And American Eagle stock soars here as retailer launches campaign with actress Sydney Sweeney. I'm a fan, Brendo.
Okay.
Yeah, just saying.
There you go. Who knew? UAVS, more drone action today as well. UAVS about to take out the highs here back above 350, as I mentioned. I think Joe has some upgrades and downgrades for us.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Thursday. Yes, we are starting to get into earnings season. Some fantastic numbers coming from Google. But on the upgrades and downgrades, guys, to start, we have ASML getting that upgrade. Spotify getting that upgrade by Oppenheimer with a price target of $800. And then we have Crown Castle getting that nod up to 125. Alphabet, some big moves in the post-market and currently trading higher in the pre-market here as well, too, guys. Getting that target up to 220 by Needham. Now on the downgrade side, we have Chubb lowering that price target by Piper Sandler, and then KeyCorp also getting that downgrade by Citigroup as well too, guys. Titan America getting the downgrade by B of A Securities, and Enovix getting the downgrade by JP Morgan and Company, guys.
ASML. Huh?
Well, yeah, ASML. It's been like multiple, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 days in a row. Eyeball it over there. It's been rough to the downside here for ASML. And, you know, ultimately, like, there's some concern clearly with them when it comes to being able to sell to China, and being a European company, they don't necessarily fall right in there with the US when they're able to make a deal. And you know, that's been weighing on the stock recently. It's getting better. Like, it's like 25 in their PE. Like, that starts to get closer to 20. And I know it got upgraded today. I mean, I'm probably not going to trade this stock, but this looks like it's going to be a value if it loses that 200 period any further and we get down around into the 600s on ASML. I don't know if I'd pull the trigger yet. Like, you're literally just underneath the 200 period moving average on ASML, and an upgrade's not really that big of a deal to me. But it's starting to get pretty cheap on ASML. It goes any further in the next couple of weeks, and I think that'll be worth picking up there. So good to have on the radar. I don't know if this is going to cause it to do much today. There's chip names that are going to have a much bigger run today that you want to be more bullish on because of what happened with Google's CapEx spend. ASML on an upgrade. I still think you'll wait a bit for this, but it's getting very interesting.
18% short float here, American Eagle Outfitters, obviously, as we talked about Sydney Sweeney. I mean, a good deal for her, a good deal for them. We've seen some of these names really rip, you know, on nothing. So right now, up 17.5% here. That's probably good enough to have a look. I mean, just breaking through $13 on 19% short float should be good. I mean, forget about the Sydney Sweeney deal. That was yesterday. We've already had this bump up off of $10 and continue to go higher and higher through here. And now you're right at this level of 13, looking to break through right here, right now. So I'm going to add $13 here for a break long on American Eagle Outfitters to the sticky note, which is going to be out in just a minute. Yeah, we did get a super chat here. We'll send it out over to Joe to see if he can have an answer for you here, David Clark. But yeah, if they're going to change the open interest and things like that, I guess a lot of traders look to see what is on open for the options. What, you know, when you're looking through the chain and things like that. So I don't know exactly what they've changed in all of this, but right now we're going to have to wait to see to match the U.S. market open. So I guess you're not going to release any of the open interest statistics or what's available there until the U.S. market is open. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to change everything, other than if you're, I'm not one to look at open interest. I never have. I know that Joe talks about that all the time, so I would say that there might be something there if he wants to look into that for us and maybe get back. We want to do thank you, Dave, for that super chat. I would just say, yeah, the game is always changing, man. I mean, pretty soon we're going to be going 24 hours or close enough to that on the market, right? And so we've already had OTC market talk about Moon and Blue Ocean, a completely new exchange as well, doing that. So the game keeps changing here, and that's the one thing that you have to remember as a trader. We are always changing, and you have to adapt with the current market environment, right? So we'll get a better answer on that. I'll probably ask ChatGPT or something like that to try to figure out what that is. But the protocol changing, I guess, and thank you, Dave, for bringing that up. More work to be done on that super chat.
Yeah, a little bit of audio. Just stand by here. We'll see if we can't get Neil's mic fixed up there. If you're looking at the overall market here, I was just keeping an eye on this UAVS. If you're looking at the overall market here, I mean, we were talking a little bit yesterday about the simple fact that volatility has compressed to a point where it's, I mean, the VIX was 15 yesterday. So, I mean, it is what it is at this point. It's been, I think, 20 days now that we're pushing without a 1% day. So trying to catch ranges, trying to catch what is moving has become a little bit more challenging. But the overall market right now breaking back to the downside.
Yeah, not bad, Brendo, lately. Anyway, in terms of volatility, it's kind of been dropped off. You made a really good point off camera with respect to the earnings play yesterday. You didn't really see aggressive responses to some of these reports. I mean, there were obviously some like CMG and IBM that dropped markedly now, obviously taking the other approach up nicely. But with respect to the market, you really haven't seen that volatility. It's more a stair step up. I think we were above 6,400 this morning on the ES, but there was a period of time, I think almost a week and a half, where we kept talking about 6,000 as 6,300 as support, 6,350 as resistance. We're incrementally, Brendo, making our way above with that 6,406 overnight high.
ECB, did they have a rate decision today? I'll double check on that, but ECB President Lagarde speaking right now, just heads up, not going to move the market, but we are going to get a Bank of Canada rate decision coming up next week. We also get a GDP reading in the US and PCE coming up next week. So a bit of a pause until then, at least.
And to build on Europe, Brendo, Chinese negotiators are actually in Europe right now to negotiate with Europeans for a free trade deal or some sort of trade agreement between them. So we'll keep an eye out on that. That could have some effects over here.
Yeah, President Trump saying anywhere from 15 to 50, the baseline as far as tariffs go for anyone. And he actually called out, he didn't say who they were, but he called out a few countries that they don't get along with too well at this point, which could be on the higher end of that ranging scale. But a quick recap here of what you missed if you're with us at 8:30. Here's some Canadian retail sales data. Negative 1.1% comes in exactly in line with expectations. Year over year, 4.9%, a little bit of an uptick versus 4% expected. Chicago Fed National Activity Index downside versus a slight uptick. Initial jobless claims downside versus a higher print expected there. 225 comes in 217, 1.9 million. Continuing claims about the same was expected. Coming up a little bit later this morning, we'll get both the PMI composite and manufacturing flash PMI numbers at 9:45, then at 10. Housing data to come, guys. The Kansas City Fed Composite Index at 11 o'clock this morning. So nothing in the way, as Neil was mentioning, a couple of bill auctions later on this afternoon, nothing in the way of market moving, or shouldn't be anyways, economic data this morning.
It's true, but we do have for the first time, well, it's certainly not happened in a while or ever, as far as I know, the president visiting the Fed, which you know what's going on, putting potentially a little bit more pressure on the Fed. Not that it seems to matter, but what it might be doing is you've got a little bit of a spike. It's not a huge one, but we're back above 4.4 on the 10-year. And anytime that creeps toward that 4.5, it's gotten a little bit dicey for us. You're about halfway there from the 4.4 that we were sitting at earlier. But yeah, I'd be careful. If that continues to creep up toward that 4 or 5, there's only so much good Alphabet can do for us and dragging everything up. If the yields, spike a little bit high on that 10-year, we're likely to see a little bit of a correction. So I'm keeping eyes on this for sure. I mean, usually on my trading view, we're looking at crypto, but you almost don't have to chart Bitcoin anymore. You just look up and it's at 118. You come back an hour later and it's at 118. So I'll be watching the 10-year today. That keeps on creeping. I might look for a few reversion short ideas if we get anywhere near that 4 or 5. The auction will matter a little bit later on, and certainly we'll see if anything. Probably nothing comes of that meeting at 4 o'clock, but it's spooking at least a little bit yields.
I mean, we talked about the dollar a little bit over the last little while. We talked about the VIX. I mean, the VIX is at these crazy lows right now that I think I was even talking about it yesterday, maybe potentially buying some sort of protection on here. And now, you're going to get like this $14, $15 mark goes all the way back February. Like if you're just going to talk about what we're doing here, if this was a stock, we'd be thinking about buying this, right? I mean, the VIX is just a mathematical situation where if the market starts to get to the downside on any kind of a worry here, potentially, where's this European deal? Where's this Chinese deal? Where's this? So the three biggest trade partners I mean, Europe is not necessarily a partner, more of a region, but don't have deals yet. And I would just say that if you get a little nervous and you want to have some kind of protection against your portfolio, the VIX might be something interesting down here in and around 15 bucks. I mean, it's been a good hold. Those are the lows back into January. This is what happens when we get sort of that worry and all hell breaks loose. I don't think the market's going to go down 20 or 30% like we already saw happen back in April. So that's not going to happen necessarily, but you could get a little bit of a bump back up here. But it looks like Google sort of holds fort there and makes sure that some of this chip plays and the AI story is still intact. So I don't really know what the next shoe to drop is going to be. So maybe VIX actually does go a little bit lower and we're able to get something at $12 or $13. But just want to bring this up to everybody because it's been a nice little move to the downside. It was only about a month ago here, June 25th, that we were at $20 on the VIX, right? And so now you're down to 15 again. Might be worth looking at this back in. Again, I'm not sure what's really going to cause this to make huge moves to the downside. American Eagle Outfitters is making a little bit of a move down. And right now, just to check back in on Google, ooh, almost killed that fly there. Trying to go through day's high as well of 198. So we'll have to wait for these imbalances to come out. It's 9 o'clock right now. I assume we're going to be talking about Google and many more of these names. As by the way, LIDR,
$4.
AI right now going higher there. I Inc.
Bye-bye.
A Inc. AI Inc. AI. AEYE is the name of this company, and there it goes right now, breaking through. I have it on the sticky note here today, but it's already gone right now. So back through $4 right now goes AI, and a quick look on UNH, getting beat up still, but really holding back in this 280 area. So we're going to have to look at that as well. Could be a good breakdown around 280 off open, but you're going to have to watch out for this 278 as a potential buy zone. But again, these imbalances are out. Right now, you should have UNH on here because it's a New York name, but right now it doesn't look like anybody's too interested in it at all. VLN, whatever that is, QS, QuantumScape, we talked a little bit about that over the last couple of days. Wolf is on here as well.
That's moving a bit. It's up 20%.
Yeah, QS, yeah.
No, Wolf.
Wolf. QS is down, I think, right?
QS
5 or 6%. Yeah, so there goes Wolf again as another bid. So we've seen that name start to go upside as well. Watch out for 250 area for that break long. But yeah, so far so good, man. Uber suffering a little bit yesterday. It looks like it's getting a little bit of a bounce today, up 1% as well. As robo-taxi talk, we're going to get all of that going as we break our rundown down. Make sure you do scan the QR code, scan that one, but go to the link in description to get our watch list. It's full of everything that we're about to talk about right now.
63.96, guys. That's where we closed out yesterday on the ES September contract. So we're basically knocking on the door of that 6,400. In fact, we took it out overnight with 64.06 being the overnight high. The overnight low, 63.91. So we're tight in a very tight range over here. So if we lose 6,400, we're going to look to that 75-point area as opposed to the 50-point area of support. If we clear and hold 6,400 after the open, you know where we're looking, 6,450.
Day low is coming into play right now for Tesla. Let's get into it. First off, if you haven't done so, take a second, jump down to the description of this video. Top link will get you to that page you just saw. And then all you need is your email address. Sign up for the watch list, comes to your inbox free daily. Has everything you need to know in the pre-market. There's 310 coming into play right now on Tesla. Yeah, a bit of a flop. This is one of many just comments. I mean, this is a typical bull, just basically saying the cheaper Model Y is going to cannibalize the actual Model Y going forward. I mean, there's not much in the way of positivity from this report. Elon really heavily leaning on robotics and AI going forward, even warned of more quarters to come of automotive downside.
And Brendo, he was pressed by the analysts. They wanted more details about Optimus. They wanted more details about the Model 2. They didn't get it. They got vague statements.
They did say on that, though, they did say, I thought it was kind of interesting, new models are coming in 2025.
Yes,
additional models
already. Apparently, they're producing the Model 2, not in mass, not in big numbers, but they're producing it. We want to see it, though, obviously being produced for commercial uses. So let's talk about how they did. 40 pennies EPS adjusted, missing the 43 estimate on revenue of 22.5 billion. Again, missing the 22.75 billion expected by the street. Musk warned, as Brendo mentioned, that they could have a few rough quarters, but he did caveat that. He said maybe it does happen, maybe it doesn't happen. I was listening to the call, guys. Automotive revenue fell 16% year over year, down substantially from last year, where they printed 19.9 billion, this time 16.7. Regulatory credit revenue slid sharply, 439 million versus the 890 million they printed last year. Deliveries were also down 14% year over year, down to 384,000 units, missing internal expectations as well. And the political backlash here, obviously the end of the $7,500 EV tax credit will hurt margins as well as demand, so keep your eye out on that. And the cheaper model, as we talked about, Brendo, Tesla began first builds of a more affordable EV this past June with volume production for the second half of this year, says Elon. The long-rumored Model 2 could help regain shares lost to cheaper Chinese competitors, especially if they include a standard version of FSD. Musk reiterated his ambitions for the robotaxi rollout as well, Brendo, in 2025, aiming to, what he says, to cover half the U.S. population by the year end. If you combine all the big cities in the U.S., that's still not half the population, so I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Optimus humanoid robots still part of the long-term narrative, but very little near-term commercial traction was offered.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's still massive upside to both of those angles. If you zoom out a little bit here, a lot of day left. Let's preface with that, but some support below us, guys, pretty far down, 290 maybe?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're past the point of needing to hear about what could happen with Tesla, and we just need to start seeing it. You know, and you can't talk it up anymore for the hype at this point. Otherwise, maybe you would have held on to some of the lows. They tried to, if you were watching in the aftermarket show, it was really trying to hold up, and eventually, you know, the numbers catch up with it here. You're talking about, was it 6 straight? Oh my goodness, the European numbers are bad. It's like 6 straight months of decline in market share over there, and some of it can be sentiment, but then the other part of it is like the Chinese models are cheap, and they keep growing. So at the end of the day, like Tesla, we need to start seeing some substance, and until then, I don't know if we have that parabolic Tesla run in it until we get some kind of a change. Look, I'm looking at the 200 period moving average at that 318. It was holding above the 50 like an absolute charm yesterday. So I want to look at that 200 as sort of the zone to be short under. It gives you like 18 to 20 as a range to go short is what I threw down on the note. If we lose 309, look, if we start thinking about where the bounce could be, if we lose this 309 is a short term, like that's that short little level there. But if you lose 300 as well, that 280 level could be a retest in a few days. I think you got to wait and see on this one. But for today, I'm shorting back into that 200 period on the daily. Disappointing for Tesla, disappointing on the call. There just wasn't a lot to sink your teeth into. Long enough term, fine. I absolutely believe in the robotics. I absolutely believe in self-drive, and I think it can be game-changing. Some of those numbers that he threw out there are a little ridiculous, but you know, that's part of the salesman. That's what Elon does, right? Like I think we've all been adjusted to this and understand sometimes he'll exaggerate.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with doing that either. I mean, just right here, Tesla on the weekly chart. This is where I don't want anyone to completely panic. I mean, we weren't that far away from all-time highs. Obviously, when you're up at 360, it's a little different than where we are down here at 311 or so. But this weekly chart, you know, the 200 period still here at 255. That's been, although we have dips and dives and all that kind of stuff, but it's been holding out pretty good down there near that level of 255 and change. So we'll wait to see if it gets down there. But I'm just looking at 280 or so here. That's 300. If you drip it down into 280, that's going to be a good level there for Tesla. But yeah, I don't think they're a car company anymore, right? I mean, they're going to lose, they're going to miss on all of that. And, you know, you're going to look at Tesla now as that full self-drive. You're going to look at it as that robo-taxi business. And I think that that's about right. I don't like to hear this talk about how we're starting a new model in 2025. It's already July of 2025, Randy. Shouldn't we already have heard about this model? Shouldn't we already see pictures? Shouldn't this already be in production? Like, what exactly is going on right now? We're getting into 2026 here, Randy.
Hasn't he promised us stuff before that we haven't really gotten on time?
That's the one thing.
I mean, I don't think the numbers yesterday were surprising to many. You got to remember how much they depended on the tax credit cash.
And that's coming off September 1st, I think.
And
right?
also, yeah, the revenues from the other companies, the ICE companies who are still paying out because, you know, they don't meet the credit criteria. So that's a problem.
You like the power business? Because like everywhere where I'm driving, Like, I'm just seeing tons of superchargers all over the roads, and as they get more and more popular with EVs, they're adjusting to their plug and their form factor and everything like that. There has to be some sort of a value there. I don't think it's huge.
NACS is not. No, I mean they came up with a standard and everybody else has adopted it. But in terms of the power business, the power wall, Tesla's giga storage, where there's doing grid scale storage, that's a revenue stream. Do they depend more on that in the future? I don't know. I mean, the car business being what it is, there's lots of competition now. This is not 10 years ago. It's not. There's people beating down the door with better products that are more updated, that are cheaper, more cost effective. So, the reality is here, yes, are there other revenue streams from robotaxi and other venues where they can bring in cash to keep us afloat? I don't know. The negative car sales over time, I think, will be a continuing trend.
I look at it as maybe the car business just keeps on funding, even though it might be losing a little bit of money. It can fund some of these other ideas,
maybe,
which eventually break out.
And do we get a Model 2, or do we get more semis on the road? And I think it's a smaller ongoing piece of the pie. Does Elon have a plan for additional revenue streams, post 2026? We'll see.
Well, it seems he does.
Does he, though? We've been promised a lot.
That's what I'm saying. We've been promised these things. Yes. We just haven't gotten any of them yet.
Right.
That's all.
So I don't know. It's not the rosiest story, but here we are.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, look, I mean, I think Tesla's going to be something else other than this big, Model Ys or like what's sending us through the roof and all this. They have to adjust, and I think they will, right? I mean, Elon, you have to remember the last 8 months has been pretty nightmarish, really, for him, I guess, in the company. So, I mean, maybe nightmare is a little bit harsh, but it hasn't been a smooth ride.
Hectic.
Right there. Hectic is a good word, yeah. So I think that we can adjust and move on with, that story, and I think it'll get better before it gets worse. But again, potentially here, down 6%, we've seen sort of the pile-on happen when these moves start. And yeah, if you came in today thinking that the stock would be up, you're not going to be happy. Down 7% here. We could go 10, and if we go 10%, you pile on to another 3% here, then you are down near that $300 mark, and then we'll have a look there. But yeah, I could see an initial pull down, and then wait for the bottom. I don't think it's worth catching this falling knife, man. I've sat in front of Tesla before, and you blink and it's $5 against you. So I think I would rather wait on that one.
If we see 300, even if there's a bounce, I feel like it'll break the level before it bounces. If it gets down there. Like, I think it would be, if it does get to 300, I'd be more inclined to play it as it let it break and then try and take it back through, as opposed to catching that falling knife. With Alphabet, here's to hoping we don't have to catch a falling knife.
Oh.
Real quick, first, Bloom Energy, BE, popping up here, just hit 31.50 on this note. Their fuel cell technology going to be deployed at Oracle Cloud Infrastructure data centers in the U.S. So a decent move here, 27 up to 30, 50, 31 here for BE. One to keep an eye on. Yeah, let's talk about Google. All comes down to the CapEx spend. Everything else, absolutely monstrous. As I mentioned, I couldn't even get over that YouTube number. It was just insane. They paid $1.6 billion for, anyone who didn't know, $1.6 billion for YouTube. It's now making them $40 billion.
Crazy.
A quarter.
Fantastic. Let's talk about these numbers, Brendo. By the way, Bloom Energy, one that Mitch gave us. Shout out, Mitch. All right, guys, revenue, $96.43 billion, beating the $94 expected by the street. EPS, $2.31, beating the $2.18 expected. Overall revenue grew 14% year over year, again, beating Wall Street's expectations of a little less than 11%. The net income, guys, the amount of money they took home, a little bit less than $30 billion, which was up 20% year over year. I mean, that's some nice take-home money there. Let's talk about Google Cloud, because everybody was waiting for this one. $13.62 billion, beating estimates of $13.11. That's up 32% year over year. So no longer is Azure the only one growing now at double digits. This one, or high double digits, this one as well. OpenAI will now use Google Cloud infrastructure for ChatGPT, obviously giving Alphabet a high-profile enterprise win there. And the company cited strong and growing demand for cloud as a reason to further ramp up investment, and further ramp up investment they did. We'll get to that in a second. Let's talk about their advertising revenue and YouTube as well. Search revenue, $54.19 billion. Total ad revenue, $71.34 billion. That's up 10.5% year over year. YouTube revenue beat expectations expectations at 9.8. The street wanted 9.5, showing solid growth despite AI competition. But the company warned that Q3 ad revenue could be a little bit tougher here, Brendo, as it faces tougher comps because of the election advertising that obviously brought them in a lot of money. Let's talk about the CapEx now. Wow, 75 was what they guided earlier, billion that is. Now they're going to spend 85, well above the 58 that the street was expecting. Their finance chief said further CapEx increases are likely into 2026, and the spending reflects demand for AI talent, cloud infrastructure, and compute power. Last but not least, the AI overviews product now that when you go and search on Google, it gives you that top little AI kind of summary. That has 2 billion monthly active users. Gemini chatbot, Brendo, 450 monthly active users.
Impressive across the board. One thing I thought was really interesting that they did with that cloud number specifically. So if you go and you pay for the high-end, whatever it is, $250 a month Gemini product, they give you, I think it's 2 terabytes or something of cloud storage. So some of the revenue coming from getting that high-end Gemini account is going to get you into that cloud category. Here are, everything I read is a positive analyst move this morning, guys, for Google.
Yeah, look, if they sell this one off today, I think we got to be a little concerned because everyone was concerned about the advertising, and when that was a strong point. The CapEx is going to be more related to the next name in there. But let's be real, Alphabet's been on a bit of a tear. And it's broken. What's so good about this is it broke this channel that we've been sitting in since the bottoms in April. The same channel just broke out. And the way I see it, pull back into whatever that resistance is. And it's not a resistance level in the way that there was a brick wall or anything. It's a resistance level on this channel high. And that's 194. So as long as this stock is above 194, I want to look longs. It's riding the volume weighted average price. Technically, the market is, since we sat down, it's been pulling back a little bit on some of the data that we got this morning. So I want to look for the pullback into 194 on Alphabet. I'll join, if it just breaks the pre-market high and starts going and there's no dip buy, then I always pivot to the volume weighted average price in that particular case. So that's the plan over here in Alphabet. I love what this means. I was spooked and said that if they didn't have the CapEx spend where it needed to be, I was going to sell some G Vernova. I might still if it keeps on going higher, but certainly not today because that was a great number and it means good things for the name we'll talk about after this.
Yeah, so I just right here, same kind of thing, man. I have 198 long break here or a dip near 194. I mean, it's a surprise beat on search, and the AI narrative is still strong. So for everything that Sharif mentioned, for everything that Brendan's been mentioning, I think you got to go long here on Google, and I like it there, 198 break. So, you know, it's been coming down in. I mean, when we wrote down 198 break, we were in around 197.50. It's not moving too much here in the pre-market, but it still is kind of getting a little bit down. The 200 period is what we're going to look for. That's 195, so that could be its first stop. Whether or not we get down $2 from here, I'm not sure. The reason why we wrote down 194, very similar. That's where, again, just sort of where we ripped up into right there. There's not even that much to look at. I just picked 194, the 200 period moving average. And, you know, that little top right there is 192. That goes all the way back to February. What a nice move now, man, above the 200. But if you look at this stock, it's a little extended from its 200 period moving average. So it's definitely had that huge run up. Obviously, someone had known that search wasn't going to be as big of an issue as they thought. YouTube was an absolute monster. Obviously, as we stream on here every single day, we understand the power of what YouTube does. So, you know, I was just looking at the 200 period moving average when I wrote down 194, and right now that's more near 195. So I think we can get a little more aggressive on that. This has all-time highs written all over it, and that would be 207.05. So I wouldn't.
It's closer than you think.
This is going to sound crazy, but we could break through 207 today, and I would not be surprised if everybody comes out here all horned up for Google. I think it's a great name. There's a lot of traders that have been obviously underneath this name. It's one of the only names right now that is underneath the stock market's valuation. I talked about that yesterday and where we were on a PE, right? And so right here, if I just type in Google in here, I don't know if Google will give it to us or the other one will give it, but right there, the PE, 19s and 20s, right now when the stock market, the S&P 500, is at 22. So if you like the story in the market, you sort of should like the story here in Google, as there's many more levers to be pulled. So if you're buying the S&P 500, maybe you want to look at some Google. Under current market valuation, it's the only name in Mag 7 that's doing that. So there it is, man. We're gonna figure it out with Google, but I think it's a buy. And yesterday, as I was sitting here watching that report come out, I put a decent buy order down here at 180. It just didn't, obviously it didn't fill. I was like, if this is gonna keep going down here on those numbers, then I definitely want to get something in here, this breakout level of 180. We did not get filled. It didn't get anywhere close. So I was bidding 180.05 or 180.25s or something like that. Never came in, and it's not going to. So I think the next thing we're gonna have to do is probably buy 200s as it goes higher. Google. I would say my price target for Google, 240.
All right, a few more to get through here. AVGO going to benefit, or potentially going to benefit the most, maybe from this CapEx spend from Google. Gets the huge pop after the close last night, along with Google shares back down here this morning.
Yeah, and as we mentioned in the Google report, Brendo, they're bumping up their CapEx from 75 to 85 billion, and obviously Broadcom, their biggest chip provider, will benefit from that, which jumped about 3% after hours. Broadcom's Alphabet's longest-standing AI chip partner, supplying custom processors that power Google's AI systems. History kind of repeats, because this happened last time. After Google reported its Q4 earnings, then they guided higher for CapEx spend. Broadcom rocketed, happened again yesterday. The larger CapEx commitment likely translates into stronger order flows for Broadcom and other key suppliers in their AI data center stack, Brendo.
Not a heck of a lot of volume behind this today. Might be one to keep in your back pocket, though, guys.
But I know, look, this is the bigger mover because they're the bigger client, but I'll still be looking at NVIDIA and AMD for the trade. That being said, on a weekly for Broadcom, it's a little tricky up here when you look at the weekly. Like, there hasn't been much in the way of pullback. Like, Broadcom on a weekly chart has not had a dip or not even much consolidation. You have a couple of consolidative weeks, and then we've just been flying around here on Broadcom. It's that steady stare upside, similar to Microsoft. You had a couple of days when it got to the prior 52-week high. So I don't know how much I want to chase it. And I even see it sliding down a little bit after that big gap up. It was the bigger gap. I'm looking over at NVIDIA, which is holding a little bit better. Like, NVIDIA's holding where it spiked to, which I like. And I like the prior high at 171. Like, my zone to buy is the morning high into the prior day high. I know it moved after market. I'm not really paying attention to that, those levels anyways. So I'm dipping into the 71 and the 70 levels on NVIDIA. And AMD's kind of in the back pocket, but it's looking a little weaker as well. Like, it's been much like Broadcom, it's trending slightly to the downside, whereas I just see NVIDIA holding the line. That's why I'll be over at that name.
Yeah, for me, look, man, I mean, NVIDIA was a big, huge trade yesterday. We were long at 168, so we'll look to see if we can get it again today. What about a 173 break there on NVIDIA, trying to get through those levels from yesterday, the pre-market high? Yeah, 171 dip by, any possibilities there as well? I mean, yesterday, like I said, we were long at 168, and it was a monster trade. So we could see if that will come through again. We're just a couple minutes away now from NVIDIA and the imbalances to come out, so we'll have to wait to see. But, I mean, everything's healthy in the environment. Really like it. There's the move higher here. The 52-week high and all-time high for NVIDIA is incoming, that's for sure. 174.25. I mean, just a matter of time now before that comes through. But nice move. If we get anything down here into 171 is right where we were, right into here. So that's yesterday's close. So I think if you're going to play the break, great. I think that's available, actually ready to do it. Or you play that dip buy into yesterday's closing price where, you know, we've only gotten good news since then. So yeah, I really like NVIDIA right here. Broadcom, again, off to the races, man. I mean, you know, if anybody bought this with Nancy Pelosi and company, you've been really well rewarded. Broadcom continues to make new highs, and looks like right now it's going to take out its 52-week high as well, in and around that 295 area. So I would say these are all working, man. It's just a matter of, I don't trade Broadcom as much as NVIDIA, and why would I go away from yesterday's huge stock? So I'm just going to wait for NVIDIA, and I think this break of 173 probably worth taking. I don't want to have too much FOMO, though, or too much excitement actually into the open. I still like AEO breaking through 13. That's on the watch list. That's on my sticky note as well right there. I don't know if that's going to happen. That's still a ways away. And the other one, of course, is Google. We just talked about it, breaking 198. So there's going to be some opportunities here this morning to play breakout trades. Let's just see if they work out for us. Google and NVIDIA, I really like the stories here, and I think they both continue to go.
It'll say, like, we're just talking about cars and gas, but it'll say, like, you have 40 kilometers left.
Oh, boy.
I'll just be like, I don't believe you.
Let me test it.
Yeah. CMG, IBM, go back, we were talking about it 8:30 to 9 o'clock this morning, nothing terribly exciting. CMG maybe a little bit more so, down to 46 here. Both, though, disappointing here.
Yeah, so CMG cut their 2025 guys, same-store sales to flat. That was down from the prior low single digits they were guiding there. It marks the second consecutive quarter of downward revisions due to declining foot traffic. Here's how they did on earnings. 33 pennies adjusted EPS on revenue of $3.06 billion. The EPS was in line. The revenue was a miss. So top line miss, bottom line beat. Same-store sales, as I mentioned earlier, down 4% despite the 2.9% drop that the analysts were looking for. June and July showed early signs of recovery, so there might be some silver lining here. CEO said comms turned positive in June thanks to new promotions and the launch of the adobo ranch dip. Have no idea, but it sounds delicious.
Sounds awesome, yeah. Day lows, meanwhile, here for IBM, actually accelerating right now through 262, guys.
IBM's report wasn't all bad. I think sometimes this just happens and it needs to correct a little bit. So I'm looking at, if it goes 10% down, it'll be at 254. That's right on this support area here, that last bounce that we had in May 23rd. So we get down there and this stock goes SSR. I'm looking buy on IBM. We kind of already went over Chipotle. I don't know if I want to double down, but I don't think we showed the imbalances. Very quiet here on the imbalances this morning. Like you've got, like Chipotle's a small sell of 300,000. QuantumScape, they reported there to the downside, small sell of 260,000. Open, 300,000 to buy. That one slowing down after a few days of good volatility there as people are going to other squeeze names. It seems like Open might be a little bit done. I'll let you go, but then, yeah, Palantir's a name that I actually threw up on my list for a trade instead, because this stock has been it's back in that pattern of just buy the dip. And the dip at the open has had some big reversions. I'm looking at the one, like where it broke out from in the afternoon yesterday was about 151 and a half. I'm looking for, if it does the dip at the open, that's the area I'm looking to buy on PLTR, as it's stone's throw to its all-time high. And I always prefer to be long into the high as opposed to taking the breakout of the high on Palantir. It just breaks the high too often. So it just lends you to want to be in before it doesn't.
Yeah, I have that trade here, 155 breaking the high of Palantir going long. So I just think yesterday's momentum, gave $4 or5 straight to the upside. Obviously, on any dip buy opportunities, you want to be there for Palantir. But thanks for asking, Shadow. I just put the link in the chat there. There's 154.70. I mean, maybe that's a better break. I'm going to wait to see if we do break 155. Its 52-week high is 155.70 something. So, yeah, right into there. If we can break through that, giddy up right now for Palantir. Wow, what a monster stock that has been. All right, with only a couple minutes left, what am I looking for? I'm looking for an NVIDIA break. We talked about that at 173. We're going on that if that happens. We're also going on, we don't have Tesla break. That's NVIDIA. The other one we had was Google. Looks like we might break even before the open here. So unfortunately, as the Nasdaq goes, I would rather this, like if I could just push this forward 2 minutes, that'd be great, because I don't want anything to break rate yet. 198 for Google may break and fake on this one. So I actually probably lower my shares a little bit on that. I'm going to wait to see. I'm very, very strong with Google. I mean, I want that name to start to get going, and I think it does. And I think we see $200 today. It's just a matter of how that all happens. I don't know. And then the other one there. And what I'm saying about that is that it's this is now 11 or 12 straight up days now for Google. And it's so far extended from its 200 period moving average. I could see it pulling back a little bit. American Eagle outfitted with a Sydney Sweetie deal and 19% short float. Definitely like that one, as runners have been happening for no reason at all. Now we kind of get a reason. It's not a strong one. It's just the market has been going on those kind of stories. And then I wrote down LIDR here at around $3. That's sort of where VWAP was when we wrote it down. Yesterday we tried the same kind of a play with D-Nut. there yesterday off of 475. It broke and went to 430 yesterday for that name. So, you know, definitely a possibility for, I mean, now you're back down in. This could go also at some point. But, you know, you saw that move yesterday in Krispy Kreme as it had that huge move up. And then yesterday, just off the open, just kept falling all the way back in, right? And so that could happen today with LIDR.
Oh, and don't forget UNH. UNH responding to DOJ investigation.
Really? Okay.
It's actually holding this 280 level. So the bounce off the 280 has been pretty good. Now, this was news that dropped this morning, so it's not like it'll be on the watch list. But that's a flat bottom break if it retakes that 280. Just one last look before we get the opening bell. Nothing popped up on the Nasdaq on the imbalances, nothing over 1 million shares. Chipotle slightly grew and broke the low of the day, but it's right back into the upside. So as we get into the second last trading day of the week, Chipotle trying to bounce after a bit of a quadrunk on its earnings, and I see NVIDIA is actually checking a little bit higher there. Might have had a small buy imbalance or something, a little bit of a tick up there. The bell brought to you by Beta Pro. Shout out to them. Let's ring it, Joe. The party is started.
Let's do this. Yeah, what's up, John M? Yeah, Sydney Sweeney is a pretty good catalyst. We'll have to wait to see. All right, so 173 here. Here comes NVIDIA right off the open. We're just going to watch this. This might be the one that winds up breaking, but here comes Google as well. Looks like Google might go first. Watch out for 198 is what we're looking at. And then, of course, on everybody's mind that we didn't really cover too much here just straight off the open is, Tesla. Okay, right now making that move down. So like I said, there could be a pile on right now on Tesla. It looks like that is what they're trying to do. But up and down now $2 there for Tesla. Just touched 306. You just saw it go to 308.50, trying to get a little bit higher. Looks like Google's going to go, man. We got to get on this one. This is our name. Palantir still 154. Looks like we're going to get punched into Google right now through 198. I just hope I crossed up enough. I only crossed up to 198.08, so we might miss this. But right now, Google just dancing around. NVIDIA, same thing. We're all kind of hovering around these key levels.
NVIDIA is just sideways.
Yeah, despite the Nasdaq.
When you were gone, there were a wealth of breakout trades where I had to cross double. I was missing them left, right, and center. I missed the circle breakout, crossing four. I crossed almost a $50 on a circle breakout last week and did not get the fill because it went straight like $1. Oh, speaking of circle.
Here comes NVIDIA, too.
Speaking of circle. 202.50 on Circle was an absolute brick wall. If this breaks through that price, I think it can absolutely fly. As a matter of fact, I think I want to have an order out for that one.
The whole market's tanking here.
NVIDIA is really coming back into the downside. I want 171 if we can pick that one up. And it looks like we have a chance that we're going to get it. So nothing is broke. There's no breakout trades. Chipotle just broke the low and did not even give you
I'm going to try it.
Any kind of a area to get into. Google is tanking toward that 194 as well. So 194, I'm going to get my order out there. I want to get this one.
Yeah, for sure. I'm waiting to go on this as well as NVIDIA makes a move down. We already have NVIDIA. Good trade so far on that one as we picked up that on the lows. But the lows might not be low enough just quite yet. Yeah, market getting hit right here quite nicely. Google did make that move down. We wrote down 194. Looks like we bounced off 195. We said that we would try to take it against that 50-period moving average. So we should have probably taken some. We'll take some more right into here. NVIDIA is going to be a big winner, Neil, right here. So a nice move now for NVIDIA. Good trade on this one, man. Now 70 cents in the money on NVDA. Let's see if that wants to climb a little bit higher. And then we did punch into Google. So yeah, we'll just wait to see what happens right here. 195.75 right here for Google. We want to get a little bit lower if we can. I don't know if we're going to be able to, but right now there goes Google as well. So we're going to go back-to-back jacks one more time here for us. So nice move higher, man. There goes NVIDIA. It's your early dollar club right there. You guys wanted $2 clubs right now. We've got back-to-back dollars right now as we'll floss it off on both NVIDIA and on Google.
Yeah, great look. Neither one came down to my prices, but I did get, I got short into CMG. I'll get there in just a second. Palantir, we want to dip by in Palantir. It's nowhere near that 151, but it just wicked the 153 level. If it can close the bar above 153, then I'll take that one to the long side. Chipotle broke the low of the day, and I want to see it get down to 45 even. If it gets to 44.50, that's the 52-week low, and that's where I would look for some kind of an SSR bounce. But as long as it's under the volume-weighted average price, I do want to be short in Chipotle. I just want to get my stop. Just in case it breaks VWAP, if the market gets a bounce there, I could easily see this one start to go. I do have my order out still on NVIDIA and Alphabet, so those will come in if they do. And Tesla is headed, Tesla's at 303. So if we get that break of 300, I'm going to look long if it breaks 300 and then fail breaks it. So breaks 300 and then comes back up. But this is the level. It'll be 10% down if it gets to $300 there on Tesla. So we'll see if it gets there. It already bounced off of 301 almost exactly. Let's go to the desk. Sharif's got something for us.
Bloom Energy breaking out here into regional highs, $32. This thing's up 18% to start the day with a headline here with Oracle Cloud Infrastructure Data Center. So they're going to be using their fuel cell technology. Bloom Energy, boys, at the high.
We took some more Google right here. We'll see what winds up happening. It went all the way back up into 197, by the way. Thanks for that Bloom Energy little report. But there it is, man. We reloaded, and right now we're huge. We've done real well on all of this today. Oh, boy, Neil, it's another one going on right now. As there goes a nice little reload there on Google. Let's see how high we can fly now and get going. There goes NVIDIA as well. NVIDIA finally breaks 173. So this is disaster potentially written all over it as we get that fake and break and then fake, as we go the other way around. But let's see if we can get going now through that 173. We take that fill. It's in there now, and now we have to deal with it. So we'll have to wait to see what happens with NVIDIA. What was a good day, let's not let it get ruined or anything right now. Get some more outs here as we break above that 173. Here we go, man. This is a monster, hopefully, for us now, as Google and NVIDIA both trying to go. These are the only two positions I have. They're the number 1 and 2 trades on the note that for myself today, so we're in them right now. It's day's goal, it's 9:36. This is how we're doing it live every day at Trader TV Live. Take the strong names long, and that's what we did right here. Let's see how high NVIDIA can fly. Oh boy, we're making a special day already, but it doesn't mean that it's going to continue. We don't know where these names are going to go. LIDR right there, halted. LIDR, halt right there, right off the open. Big move going through 480. We'll see the tap right now, 460. We'll see where that's going. But oh boy, it's Google going the other way right now, back into 195. NVIDIA's the one that's making them sing.
Yeah, I noticed that because I just got the dip on Alphabet. Palantir barely broke the volume-weighted average price. It regained that 153 and was able to break the volume-weighted average price, but it's still looking a little bit weak here, and I do want to pop over to show you guys what's going on in the market. Wicked the top, overnight highs, and then right back into the downside. So let's be a little bit careful here. We are drawing back. I think you want to take profit wherever it lies. Hey, that did not break VWAP on Chipotle. But Alphabet's the real thing that's dropping into that. Yeah. I think we're going to get that 194. I popped in at 95. And it looks like this wants a date with that 94. I am looking to reload on Palantir if it holds that 173, but Google's the one really, Alphabet's the one that's really dropping in here into that 194 level. We're back to Sharif, more news. Don't hear him.
With the company announcing they've initiated a search for their new CEO for outgoing Tom Siebel. So down markedly here, 6%, C3 AI.
Okay, we're going to have to look at that in a minute. I'm going to wait here. We did buy some 194s. I mean, this is what we put down here for us on Google. So we did do some double buys. We're still long at 195, reverse dollar club right now on that. But here it comes right back up. Yeah, this is going to be a good one. Let's go, Google. If we can do this right now, oh boy, we're having a decent day one more time here. But it's not like anything's moving yet. The market is not going up. So if this market ever does turn itself around, maybe we will have some nice upside right here. But take advantage of that little move right there back upside. So that's where we're long at. We're long at 194.95 right now. We just got some out there at 80s. Let's see where we can go. It's really right now for me, it's all about the NVIDIA show. Look at that dip buy we had there on NVIDIA, 171.75. Let's go, man. If this market can get going, there it is. We're right back up now again to our first daily goal. But, you know, we need this stock to go a little bit higher. We're not trying to make goals. We're trying to make money. So let's go to the upside again right now. like, this is part of it, right? If you lose, you hope to be down, you know, one of your goals, basically. And when you win, you try to be up it. So right now, we're going to be long on Google and long on NVIDIA, as Google had a good report yesterday, but look what's happening. It's downside right there. So like I said, we are a little bit too far away, I felt like, from the 50-period moving average, and no surprise on a sell side here for Google. It's coming back in pretty decently. I'm going to wait, man, now for maybe 193 or so for that dip buy opportunity. That's a little low, though. Like, that's the 50-period moving average here on the 5-minute chart. I don't know, man. If I take, like, maybe 192 might be the spot. We may...
It just went 95.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm long huge here, man. I mean, this is a monster day. It's just looking to see where the downside is. I think, especially when you're trading more shares, you got to be cautious on where that downside is, right? So, yeah, there it goes, man. Good job on 195.
Yeah, but 94 is my out regardless on this bad boy. But I'll tell you, Palantir, that just headed right back in. It held 50, almost at 93. It held 53 the first time. The second time, there was absolutely no bounce. So now we back off and wait for the real, like the bigger level is down around 151.5. So we get down there on Palantir, and then we'll go for it. Look, obviously, you're seeing the chips fly around. AMD is up 161 on Advanced Money Destroyer, or I guess we can't call it that on days that it's up. Some people like to call it the doubler. But it's not going to double today, no questions asked. We just lost the volume-weighted average, regained the volume-weighted average price on Chipotle, so if it breaks and holds above that, I want to be out. It's SSR, which means short sell restriction. When this catches a bid, it can really fly. Google, we're just at 195, right back into 194. So clearly this is the level, but we cannot seem to hold past 195. And under 94, there's a sizable, I think there's a sizable gap into 191 that we have to pay attention to. And I don't want to sleep on Tesla. Tesla's retesting down toward 300, everybody. It bounced off 301, 399 cents it bounced off of. So already holding that 300 level, did not get 10% down. 99% sure it didn't. It would have to break 300 to go 10% down. So yeah, we're not going to go SSR in this without us seeing that big monster level at 300. I was going to play a break, but given that it held the first time, I'll look to see if it can hold again. I'll try to stay zoomed in so we can see this level as Tesla coming in. With the rest of the market, we're about to head down to the lows.
Yeah, that's the problem. These pre-market lows in and around this 740 area. What we're looking at is 23.3 right now, getting lower. Again, I mean, we scalped out some Google. Like I said, we have no idea where this day is going to go for us. If we do break below this 193, that's going to be a problem. There goes 194, Neil's out. I'm going to wait for a little bit longer, but yeah, it is trying to bleed here for sure, downside. I'm still buying some of this. I mean, I still like the stock. 193.20s or so is where I'm waiting to see if we do get a severe dip down. We only went to 193.70 right there, but we held, so we're going to wait to see now what happens. Again, I like the catalyst with the earnings call. The only problem is I don't know what the street wants to do, and right now it doesn't look like they want to buy it. I mean, we were almost up 4% here at 198, a nice move down. But this is why I didn't sell. Nice bounce off there, off of 194. Let's just wait for it. I don't have any other great ideas right now. NVIDIA making the move back in, potentially into VWAP there. That could be a nice little dip buy opportunity as well for NVIDIA. But until this market really tries to get going here, might not be worth much. So we're going to wait, let this market settle down, especially if we can get back up. Here goes Google right now. That was a good one, man. Let's see if we can just hold on just a little bit for this. Like to see it back into 195. We're now back to Greensville, obviously, on this trade here. We'll put something out. Okay, there he goes, 80s, 90s, 70s. Good little move upside right now for Google, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to go. It keeps on stopping up near these levels. So let's take another piece out right there at 194.70. Good out right there for Google.
Absolutely, and bouncing off, as you said, bouncing off the volume-weighted average price was NVIDIA. But hey, if there's something you guys aren't seeing us cover that you'd like, hey, get in there. Make sure you type $sign in that symbol. It could be Amazon. It could be the Qs. It could be Palantir. It could be Wolf. I have no idea. Whatever it might be, just make sure you type $sign in the chat. You have to be a subscriber to be in the chat. So hit the sub first. Then type in those symbols. I don't even know what EOSE is. I see DNUT, OKLO, BBAI just popped in there. So SBET, Circle, Uber, LIDR, Hood, they're throwing them all in there. LIDR up top there with Tesla. We'll refresh that in a bit and double check to see what the big names are, but some good ones in there. Let us know what you guys are watching as we'll go back over to Sharif and hopefully this market bounce continues.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully, guys, cheering for that market to go up. U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick saying if the U.S. does not get control of TikTok and sold to an appropriate party, it will go dark. In addition, Donald Trump saying that everyone says he's going to destroy Elon's companies by taking away the large-scale subsidies he receives from the U.S. government. He says this is not so. He wants Elon's companies to do well and thrive like never before, as well as other companies, guys. So some comments there about the earnings report from Donald Trump.
Right. Yeah, thanks for that. We can check out DJT. I'm going to try to get some more Google out here in the 70s if we can, but I don't know, man. Oh, we got it. So, okay. Green day for us today. We've only traded two names today, Google and NVIDIA, and they've both been pretty good. DJT not doing a whole heck of a lot. Let's check out our American Eagle outfitters right here. We got Sydney Sweeney news, and I'm going to cancel that right there because we might make moves lower right there on that one. We do not take out that high. All right, let's go, man. Really excited for everything here. We could have an absolutely monster day on our hands, especially if these markets want to go and if Google wants to participate as well. Now back through 195. Let's go. Let's see if we can get this going upside right now again for this name. I mean, I'm just excited because of where this has come from. We've already been up here at 198. May we take a bottom? I mean, I'm hoping it's not going to be I'm hoping it is the bottom, but I'm hoping that we don't look at it again and we can just keep on going upside, but it's not taking off from these lows. It keeps on stopping. So we'll take out some more right there on Google. Big trade alert for Google. We just got to wait for it. It does get into our 194 level, which is what we wrote down. So we're going to buy 194s when it comes into that. So that's what we did. It's NVIDIA right now that's been disappointing as that continues to go long, short there. I know you were just long NVIDIA as well, as this does not seem to want to go. I
just covered both. I'll show you why on Alphabet. I'm still going to take the 94. I'll get out when it breaks underneath 94. If I'm going long in front and it breaks, I'm going to jump out, and then I'm jumping right back in when it bottoming tails. That's fine. But it just lost 195, one green candle, and immediately loses the 95 in the prior bar. If you're trending up, I want that prior bar to hold. NVIDIA is a different story because it didn't go anywhere near the 171 that I wanted. Like not even remotely close, so I want to play it on VWAP on the way back. If it instantly doesn't hold, then I'm gonna jump out and wait for it to hold again. So Google did it, and we're able to get back in. I'm still looking for a re-entry into Palantir as well. But it was a good bounce, but then it failed the pre-market low, and that's what's happening on all these bounce plays. I'm not seeing any sustainability with them so far. You were able to catch them off the lows, and if we don't break 195 Google, I'll wait for 94. If we don't hold VWAP on NVIDIA, I'll wait for 171. The thing that's distinctly different might just be Tesla. Tesla is sustaining its move off of 301, so I guess it didn't want to get to 300 after all. Got a little too bearish on Tesla, and admittedly was unwilling to be long until we actually saw 300 instead of just going long in front of it. That clearly was a bit of a mistake. Good level, but sometimes you have to play out in front of the level. Willing to do it on Google, but I was not willing to do it on Tesla, unfortunately.
Oh boy. All right, I think we might have this now. I'm waiting for higher. I mean, well, we got to get something. Actually, now that I look at where this 50-period moving average is, I'm going to put something out at this 50-period, or sorry, at the 200-period moving average. It fell into our area. We took it, right? So again, let's just go over what's been happening. I think it's NVIDIA is going to be the problem for us right now. We are green. Oh, there it goes. Yes, there it goes, man. That's the trade of the day right there, Google. And again, if you guys are looking for it, I want to thank Shadow in the chat and everybody there in the chat that was asking me for the sticky note, because there it is right there. 194 dip buy opportunity is a take. So there it goes right there, capturing that one. It'll be a big trade there for Google. The problem is the NVIDIA. NVIDIA, we wrote down 171 dip or 173 break. It's the 173 break that got us in trouble. The 171 dip buy has been completely fine. It's the fact that we're completely reversing right now this move on NVIDIA, as it's the Look, man, I would be not severely red, but we'd be red if we don't have this Google trade on, but we do. We only have 2 trades right now. We're going to have to watch that, but it's NVIDIA that I'm going to have to think about and what we want to do with it, because it is trying to bounce, and it's doing a good job. It's just, where do I get out if we're wrong? That's kind of what I'm dealing with here, because I still like the long, but it is getting close to some breaking spots here again. So we're still going to be at our one-time goal here, but at the same time, more action coming. Let's check out LIDR. Now reopens on that that, halt goes to 480, brings it back in. We do like VWAP areas of around $3. So if that comes in, that's not VWAP anymore, it's 340. That could be a trade for us as well. And then, of course, as we talk about more earnings plays, man, there's Tesla. Rewind the tape. It was like $300, could be that dip spot, and it looks like that is what it was. Nice recovery there for Tesla. And we mentioned the market being at lows. Yeah, not anymore, as there we go, right back up to highs. So we say congratulations to everybody that has those diamond hands or that just believed in some of the longs. I mean, even the trades that I have on board right now, it's not like they're crazy long or anything. There's going to be much better ones, including maybe Robinhood and one that you're looking at. But for right now, this is what happens when you trade earnings, man. Sometimes they go, sometimes they don't, despite what the market's trying to do. I guess the market's on the back of Tesla right now.
It's on the back of Tesla, but if you want to get 3x daily leverage ETFs to play in the market and you're in Canada, well, then savvy Canadian traders have been boosting their exposure, and they can tap into the Nasdaq 100 and the S&P 500 with Beta Pro's 3x daily leverage ETFs. They've got built-in FX hedging. This aims to amplify short-term market moves, minimizing the impact of currency swings. Whether you're feeling bullish, bearish, or something in between, these ETFs are built for active day traders ready to take on the market. Read the full risk disclosure in the prospectus at betapro.ca before investing. And nary holding up the market and certainly doing a good job of it or helping it has got to be Amazon right now. Not a red candle in sight for Amazon. So what's interesting is you're actually getting a bit of a pullback in Google as the market's getting back into those highs. It just tagged 194.30s, and I was sitting about 20s. I might step up just a little bit. It's holding some higher lows, and I do like it. NVIDIA still won't hold VWAP for me, but we're going back to Sharif.
AAL, Neil, American Airlines short sale restricted as it drops below 10% momentarily, down 9.25 right now. Reported earnings, kind of a tougher look. We covered it in the morning. I'm not going to go through it right now, but keep your eye on AAL, 9.25 in the red.
Yuck.
195. All right, I was just trying to figure out here because we are starting to fall down. I mean, including this NVIDIA trade, as it looks like it wants to get lower pretty fast right now. Here it goes. There it goes. So we're going to get out of 75% of this trade as it breaks through right now these lows of 172.40. This was sort of the day's low. I mean, the day's low is all the way down here, but sort of just into here. You know, we don't need to be here if it's not going to act properly. We said the market had ripped up there, and it was like, but the names I have aren't ripping. And we were wondering what it was, and it looks like it's going to be Amazon. So we'll lose a little bit here on NVIDIA. I don't know, it looks like we will. The stop is breaking through 30. Okay, here it goes. Is breaking through 30. So we're pretty much there right now as we are at the lows. Google also coming back in as well. But we didn't hold on to this one, which is thankfully as much. We're out of that. We're about to have about a third left. It's more the NVIDIA trade that we sort of resting on right now. But yeah, Palantir was going to be a good look. 153 and change. Looks like it wants to go higher. Watch out for 155 break now on Palantir. It's the other names that aren't really working out right here. It's Google, it's NVIDIA for myself. And I guess, is Tesla finally starting to turn around a little bit? Nah,
no,
not really.
it's still going.
Yeah, see, so you picked the wrong ones again. Like the one that has the weak report there looks like it wants to battle from the bottom. The other one's making new lows as we speak. Some of these names right here, including NVIDIA.
Yeah, the mistake for me was not really wanting to. I thought Tesla would be weak enough that you'd actually break that low before it did what it's doing right now. But that's the thing. Like sometimes if the level's really good, it's not going to get there. But Google again, it just bounced a couple of times. So there was, as we're going to Sharif and all that, there was a bounce back into 194, like 60 or 70s. So that last reload gave you some profit, but then we just took out the low again. So I've jumped out of Alphabet one more time. Unfortunately, the buying was at 194 for me, and that was the only spot. But now you're losing that bid. There's nothing until you get to like 190 to 91. I'm going to wait it out. Either we regain 194, break the downtrend. There's another way we could get into this, which would be simply break the downtrend on Alphabet. There you go. So I can always wait for it to break a downtrend, or it gets to 191. Palantir looks like it's going to be relatively solid. NVIDIA is not really at a price that I like, but Palantir broke its downtrend and held the volume-weighted average price and is making some higher lows. I'd rather be long into the highs on Palantir as opposed to taking the breakout. And I believe the high is about 155.60 160 or 70.
It's 155.70.
70 on the all-time high. So if it gets to that price, I want to already be long somewhere. VWAP might be the first place that we're able to get it. And a lot of names that people are looking at. We saw when we went through a lot of BBAI and a lot of open. BBAI stair-stepping to the upside. There was no catalyst specifically on it today, and there certainly wasn't a catalyst on open. And if open gets to $3, I would do with it what we did the last time it was at $3, which is sell. $3 is resistance on open. Free locates here for us at Real Trading on this stock. But if it goes another 10, 15%, I do want to look for the fade. Short.
Yeah, let's check out some other names that had reported here. We had IBM report as well. Wow, IBM down 10% today. Not a good report at all. I was looking. I don't have that many shares of IBM, but I'm thinking about picking some up right now as we get pretty close, man. Here's IBM on the daily coming into the 200 period moving average. Right now goes IBM, so yikes on that one. Okay, so now we're starting to drop out as the market comes in. So we actually get out of that 75% of our trade on NVIDIA as it does break through 172.40s. That was that low right there. We were able to get out of a little bit right there, but we cannot slap a win on this trade as it was good early, obviously, as we took that trade all the way to the up. We didn't get in trouble there because we could have got out, but there was really no carry forward on that 173 break long. So here we go, man. Google right back into 193 right now as this name, this is the chance. We came right into the 200 period moving average, the 50 period on the 5-minute chart for Google. It's fading out as well. So it looks like here, what was not a great report, I guess, for Google, all said and done.
I thought it was a good report.
So did I. Up 1.5%. The market says no thank you on that one as Google continues to make the moves lower here on earnings. Nice play for Google to have gone short.
I might buy one of these, Google or IBM at lunch. I'm just not sure which.
Yeah, okay. Well, let us know what you do because right now, here goes Google making moves, breaking through 80s now. We're going to have to get out. So there it goes. We got out at 75% of all of these trades. I still like to hold them just in case, but nice move there for Google. Downside. What's up, Sharif?
NVAX, Sean, to the tune of 7% and change over here, 7.25% on this headline. The H5N1 vaccine candidate shows immunogenicity in preclinical study, guys. 845 high, just a little off the highs.
Okay.
So just one note, IBM did get 10% down.
Oh, it did.
So it is now short sell restricted. It's still making some fresh lows, so it doesn't really set up for the bounce play just yet. I do have eyes on the trend, but sometimes I like to look at it on a 1-minute chart a little bit better. It's kind of the same thing. So, I mean, a 1-minute chart is going to give you this break here, which it might be doing, and then 3 minutes more or less going to be the same line. The low is 253.75. So if it can break this trend holding 254, it's also support on the daily. I'm going to look for the patented go long into the volume weighted average price stop at the low of the day. On IBM. Either that happens or we get pre-market low. It's not going to happen on NVIDIA. Google, I'm still going to wait. It's trying to hold that 193, but with that not bouncing, it feels like the next trade is going to be a shot at this IBM. And Fibonacci Red Devil, BBI 8 breakout, that's what it was trending toward when I pulled it up. But my eyeballs are on the same names. I'm basically looking at earnings names sans Palantir. That's pretty much it. And BBI, I didn't really see a catalyst for it. Not that it needs one necessarily.
Man, we could get green on Google again here right now. I mean, it just bounced off that 193. We're trying to stay strong off that 193, but that really does suck because we got out and then I just bought it back once I realized that maybe that was the bottom. I can't stop doing that. I don't know. You got to set your stops because if it continues to go lower there, then you're up shit's creek. Because if you don't stop out, then let's go. At least we got it back, man. At least we got it back right there for Google. So we punched in our biggest position there on the way back up as we noticed it was holding because I liked the level. But we are starting to get some out here right now. We don't want to look this gift horse in the mouth. We were dead to rights there on Google. And then we just pumped it back up through that 193. So right there, again, just notice that, hey, sometimes we get washed out there, and it looks like that is what just happened. There was not a big volume spike, so I'm not 100% certain that this is a capitulated bottom. It's not at all. I mean, there's no signs of capitulation. I just was thinking that, hey, if 193 was going to hold, we were looking at that level, and it came back in. We got out so that we can say, okay, we're not completely getting rinsed here. But once it blasted back through, we were able to take the long one more time on that one. So yeah, so far so good there on the Google reload, but it just got into the 70s and 80s there, and that's where we were able to empty out. We still have about half or so, maybe a little bit more than that. Maybe let's call 60% of this position left. We just stopped right there at 193.70s. So looks like now the pressure is back on. They let it go back up. Now the sellers are back in on Google. So just be patient, man. And you break that low, we now have to get out officially. We don't want to see it retake the low. We either have it or we don't, man. That's 192.75. If it breaks, if it breaks that, then we're going to get out. So I'm going to put another offer here into the 30s and then into the 50s again. Maybe we get them, maybe we don't, but we're going to have to start to get out because that move does not seem to be extending through there on Google. I don't know if President Trump, people mentioning that he mentioned Big Bear AI. I mean, we know he watches the show.
He did?
I have no idea, but we know he watches the show. We know he follows me on Twitter. So, we're going to have to wait to watch out what happens here on Big Bear AI, breaking through $8, 802 right now for Big Bear AI. So just be careful on that one. We'll have to wait to see what winds up happening there. But yeah, man, Nasdaq still holding out pretty good. So is the ES. So the Nasdaq and everything is fine here today. It's just these earnings names.
It's the earnings names that are bleeding. And by the way, IBM made another low. So I was looking for it to break that trend and hold 54. It just blasted through it just now. So I moved off. I'm not going to be in it. I have to wait for it to actually break the trend. NVIDIA sort of did here. It did a bottoming tail into the pre-market low. I wanted to wait for a test of the pre-market low, and then it broke the prior bar candle. So stop on that name. And IBM, it doesn't really matter what you think of the report. At the end of the day, the stock is absolutely dropping. I'm not going to catch this. I'm not catching the falling knife. It's going to have to show me either a huge volume candle bottoming tail or the break of that trend. I may like the long down here on a daily chart, but that doesn't mean you have to go into a day trade on it. So it has to set up and start looking a heck of a lot better for me. We don't mean to not cover Tesla. That is absolutely not the intention. Just not in it. And Tesla, of all of these earnings names, somehow is bouncing the best. Down 8%, I get that, but somehow bouncing the best. Miracle if it holds on to the volume-weighted average price here with the market pressing to the lows. But that's exactly what we're seeing. Tesla, strong bounce off 300. That was definitely a swing and miss. I was looking to short a pop in Tesla, thinking the fanboys would get us a pop that we could fade. And Palantir just bounced off VWAP, and I missed it by a couple of pennies here.
Oh, no.
So Palantir is holding the volume-weighted average price, which means I'll just move it. You have to remember, when you put orders out in front of the volume-weighted average price and the stock is trending up, VWAP's just going to move up on you. So oftentimes you will miss it if you don't adjust your order. Let's go to the desk with Sharif.
Are you guys looking to trade futures like the Nasdaq, the S&P, or even Bitcoin? Well, guess what? Top One Futures is one of the fastest growing prop firms out there. They give traders the chance to manage up to $1 million in real capital. And the best part is you choose your own path. You can go the instant funded route, the challenge route, or even choose a pro account and start trading your way to real payouts and even a live account. In the last 90 days alone, guys, they paid out over $10 million and earned over 1,000 5-star reviews from real traders just like you. So use that discount code TTV to save on any account, scan that QR code, or head on over to toponefutures.com and start trading towards your next payout, guys. Big moves today for Amazon, guys. Up here, 2.4%, the best looking name in the Mag 7 right now, into that 234 level. No real news on Amazon, but apparently the Amazon Prime is going to release a video here detailing the rivalry between Sam Altman and Elon Musk. That should be interesting. I also want to bring your attention to Uber, breaking out aggressively here, 4% at the highs, 93.61, another good performing name. And Netflix, guys, over 15% now off the top. Netflix continues to sell off. Multiple negative days now for NFLX. Keep a lookout for that.
I want to reread the IBM report because every now and then you get the feeling that I feel like maybe I missed something there, and I know I like Alphabet's report. I'm starting to ask myself if I need to read IBM's again just to see why it might be getting beat up as much as it is. And you can be patient. I think ultimately with a stock like that, you can be patient. It'll give you a good dividend, but I don't know if I want to rush back into it. Look, I do own some IBM shares already. It's just, yeah, I thought it was a good report. Palantir bouncing off VWAP, or at least attempting to bounce off the volume-weighted average price. There isn't a heck of a lot in terms of strength, but hey, the Nasdaq has held the low. Knock on wood. So if that's going to happen, the ES is actually holding the highs while the Nasdaq is trying to bounce off the low. So there is some strength in this market. Hopefully Palantir continues to hold the volume-weighted average price. I'm off. This was the strong Mag 7 name, and if it's losing the trend, I do not love that. If it's been holding us up, certainly with the Nasdaq doing a very good job of it. If this continues all the way down to VWAP, I think you could break those lows. And another name, a name that was actually up the most in sympathy to Google was Broadcom, and Broadcom is at lows of the day. Broadcom is threatening to go red here, and remember that big CapEx spend benefits them the most from Alphabet, and they're threatening to go red. So there's a couple of signs that are making this look a little bit weak, and I agree, Lewis. Amazon certainly catching some sympathy because the cloud numbers were great for Google.
Yeah,
no question about
true.
that.
Yeah, that's a good call there on Amazon. We should have maybe looked at some of those secondary plays, but that's why we kind of looked at NVIDIA there. But you just mentioned Broadcom and what they're doing.
Yucky.
I'm still going to try to hold out that Google wants to work, but we have been chasing this
even Palantir
falling knife here all morning. So it necessarily hasn't worked out, but here it goes. Maybe now. I hate saying that, like maybe this, maybe that. I mean, I'd rather be more certain in these trades. But for right now, it just looks like we want to just get lower. And I don't know. I thought it was good. Waiting for that buyer to come in, and I just don't want to miss it. So there is a little bit of FOMO of trying to stay long on this name, but at the same time, like taking cuts, right? Which eventually, these cuts just continue to hurt. All right, Coinbase here. Let's just talk a little bit about what's been happening on some of these other sides of the coin. Right now, down almost flat now for Coinbase, but did have a nice move back into 394 there. Good hold level for sure for Coinbase. Bitcoin's been fine, man. 118.5. I mean, it doesn't, every time I look down here, it seems to be at the same area as 118.5, 117.5, things like that. So, okay, now we're starting to go a little bit here on Google, which is nice. But yeah, Coinbase right now, 397. We'll see if it can get back upside right now for that play. And again, some of the other names that are hitting on my scanner, obviously now Google's trying to go back up, so that's trying to hit a little bit there as well. DraftKings was up to $44. That was a good trade for us recently. Did we get longer down there on NVIDIA? Yes, we did. That's why that's starting to be in the money a little bit for us here as well. Let's get some more out as we're sort of making some back now, obviously, as it was a little bit of a rough ride. What's up to DMX right there, as we'll go a little bit higher right now. Rest in peace, actually, DMX, I guess. The legend continues right there. But, okay, there we go, man. Nice move back up there for NVIDIA as we continue to go higher, and Google as well. Oops, that's not Google. Nice little recovery right there for Google back upside. Let's take some more out at 25s, get some more out as we make that back, man. We just made back a decent amount, but we still think that Google has a chance to go. Look, every single time we're in this, in and out, lost right there, lost right there. The last two dip buy opportunities have not worked out. So on these pump ups, we need to keep on doing what we're doing. Get out on these moves higher and hope, and again, there's that stupid word again, hope that the market does try to recover. LIDR, Neil.
Uber, go ahead.
375. No, I was just going to say, like, this name halted and now back in. But yeah, Tesla and Uber might be plays as well.
Uber is up $3, and one of the leaders on my personal quote board, it is the leader, but then my quote board isn't reflective of the entirety of the market. Shout out to $90 on Uber. The next time Uber is at $90, set it. Oh, I lost my 15-minute chart. Set an alert for that thing. It's bounced very clean off that level several times, seeing it hold a nice bull flag as well. Just quickly, I'll opt to get, every time we lose the volume-weighted average price, I'm out on Palantir and then waiting for the low, but then it immediately regains it, so I jumped right back into the trade. Apparently, Kohl's is going again. This was the meme stock a couple of sessions ago, but this is look, this is nothing. Oh, that's right, my 15's gone. This is nothing compared to what it did a couple of sessions ago. Like, this stock was at $21. There's resistance in the 14.5 to 15 area. So a good little bounce here on Kohl's. Just watch out for that 14, 15. The way that it got sold off the other day was, you know what, to be honest, I outside of that GameStop day where they didn't let people execute. I don't remember seeing quite a drop at the open on any stock that fast. It was insane how quickly that was falling when it finally lost a bit. So just be careful with that one if it starts to break the trend. So just back into Palantir, Tesla might be headed back to that 300. I think we'll get a second chance.
Oh, really?
We'll find out if we actually want it, but that's a level. It'll be 10% down if it gets there. It's the kind of level that I'm just going to play win, lose, or draw. Like, how many times do you get a chance at an SSR bounce on Tesla at an even $300 level? It already happened once and was perfectly clean if you took the mean reversion. I can't possibly like it the second time as much as I would have liked it the first, but it doesn't mean I still won't take it.
We're trying to do something similar here. I'm still looking at the same names, of course, as we go. Getting some more out of NVIDIA, hopefully, and yes, that is true. We were able to get some out of NVIDIA. We'll have to wait to see if it does want to go back upside, which would be Google is the next story that we have to look at. IBIT and Bitcoin not doing a whole heck of a lot right now. Let's check out on some of the banks. As you know, we talked about maybe buying some VIX and some protection here. It doesn't look like we need it right now as the market remains where it is right here. JP Morgan 297, that's a good little level there. Robinhood today as well, up to 101, actually pulling back a little bit, Robinhood there. Watch out for 100 on Robinhood. We had some good stories yesterday with Boeing, of course, as wow, 234 for Boeing. I didn't actually realize it was that high up. Okay, Google just lost, by the way, again, down through 192. So it looks like for right now, Google's finished. I mean, we tried to get through 193 there. It does not go, and it just makes the move lower, lower, lower. So yeah, man, not anything good happening right now in Google land, nor NVIDIA land, really. NVIDIA will roughly be flat on. We will be slightly down on it, it looks like. But there's a nice pullback in one more time here for NVIDIA. We'll try to buy some of these dips as this doesn't make too much sense as it's been pretty aggressive here to the downside. I'm not hearing anything in my ear as far as news or anything like that. We are now out of catalysts for the day. As we look here, what's going to be coming the rest of this day. We'll go over here and just see we're already through some of these numbers. So jobless claims not there anymore. New home sales at 10. We've already had that. So yeah, right now we just wait to see if we can get some sort of a push higher here. We did buy some of that NVIDIA dip as Google. We have a small piece, man. We got out at 75% on that push. Remember, we were able to get out on the top side as we had said. And then we got out basically for flat right there. And we hold a little piece to see where that bottom is. But still downside, man. I mean, all of these names continue to fall lower here as, yeah, I don't know. Let's do a check maybe if we can on this little thing here that Fabian built, just to see what names. Okay, we do have a super chat. We'll get that in a second. Whoopsies. Right there, I just minimized Fabian's wonderful work. There it is right here. Let's see what you guys want to talk about. So right now, it looks like by far Tesla right there. What's up, chat, man? Get into the chat. Hit it. Hit like. Hit subscribe. Hit all that stuff right now. Be part of our community and let us know what you want us to do here. It looks like Tesla Open Door is going to be a good one. Amazon, Kohl's with KSS. That's a big one. Google and Big Bear AI looks to be the talk of the town right now. So we'll get over all of those as we just continue to watch some of these names fall down, especially this Google, man. 191 now for Google. Wow. My 180 won't get filled today, but nor will that 210 area, which was the high. 208 or so was the high there for Google.
Yeah, I said I was going to wait for 190. We might be there. We might actually be getting there. It's been disappointing for those longs. Oh, where'd the super chat? Let me find it right here. We do have a super chat. I want to shout out. We got Mershai earlier. Thank you very much. John M, member for 35 months.
Ooh,
Sydney Sweeney is a very strong catalyst. And then Rod Rimex. Rod Rimex. I don't know. There's no capital there, so hopefully we got that right. 16% today buying calls.
Boom.
That'll work.
Yeah, I'll take 16%.
That'll work. I'll tell you what I don't like. Look at the lit grab that they just pulled. I say they. When I say they, I'm just like loosely talking about like the market here. Algos, like that kind of thing. That just happened on Palantir under the volume weighted average price. Big time liquidity grab. It broke VWAP, went all the way down to 150, 280, and then instantly back to the volume weighted average price. Ooh, and they just sold it again. This time I bought in front of the 153 and we'll play it back into the volume weighted average price. I think we just got to go into scalp mode on these names. I do want to check back in on Circle and some of these smaller cap. I'll get back to open in a quick little second, but some of these smaller cap names, because LIDR, is holding I'm calling it LIDR because it's LIDR, everybody.
Right.
I don't want, if you get confused, it's LIDR, it's an easy way to call it. It just bounced clean off the volume weighted average price. It halted up and then pulls back. If this can resume the upward trend, there is a tremendous, if it can hold the upward trend above this $4 level, there's a tremendous amount of upside sort of past this 4 to get into $5. That being said, this stock doesn't spend much time above $4. It's almost like a one-day thing every time it's been around here. So just be careful. I think it's more of a momentum play than anything else for today at that particular price. So Palantir bought the dip. It cannot seem to get back into VWAP, but I'm just going to keep going for the prior bar low. Take my pot shots at it, and if it continues to hold relative strength, like the market just went red, and this isn't breaking the low. So I feel like at least it's not going and breaking this bottom as the market goes lower, which is a good sign. But at some point, I've said this before, at some point, if you keep falling, even the names that are holding up are going to lose. Well, Palantir for now down 1%, but holding its low of the day. And Tesla still, it was like 10 minutes ago, I was like, yeah, Tesla's headed to 300. It's still very slowly headed to $300 after missing on the top, missing on the bottom, Elon being all pessimistic. Right back into 300. I don't know about get it, Elon there, Sharif. Get us some actual results, Elon. And then we can get back to being Tesla bulls. Although technically I didn't sell any shares. So I sold my swing, but I didn't sell any of my long.
You had a swing in Tesla, huh?
What was that, 222.22?
Oh, that. Oh,
that.
Okay, yeah, that was.
Yeah, but that was different. Like that was
months ago.
Yeah, that was sort of months ago. But in my long term, I've done nothing with Tesla.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not. I don't plan on selling too much of these shares. That is for sure. Shout out to Chef Joe, right there, forever long. As we watch out for some of these trades.
Forever young.
Yeah, forever young. Yeah, that would be nice. Would rather have the fountain of youth than the fountain of wealth. That is for sure. Okay, so yeah, just watching out here. We are trying to buy a little bit more of these dips. Now, whether or not that is a good move or not, I don't know. But NVIDIA coming back in one more time here. We're going to wait to see if we do get some actionable trades here off of NVIDIA. I mean, look, I wish we could talk about it a little bit more. I'm just too wrapped up in everything that we're doing right now. All right, so here's the hot list. Brought to you by, of course, eSignal right now, Soxel SPY, AMD. I guess they want us to have a quick little look at their AMD, so that's something that for sure we can have a look at. Google Opendoor. Oh yeah, that was one that we had on our look right now. So let's have a quick look then at Opendoor and give you guys a nice little peek at this. Open the door. Right now for this stock. So 264, 265, up 15%. You guys have wanted us to look at it, so we'll do that right now. Lots of volume, man, 133 million shares. This is one of those Chamath SPACs that really hadn't gone anywhere. We got those good numbers from housing. We got that capital gains story last week as well about the housing market. And, you know, that really started creating some Opendoor excitement right there. But yeah, I don't know if this is going to continue or not, as I feel like there's just so much froth right now in this whole market, and I think Opendoor contributes to that, just like KSS and Kohl's, right? And so as we get a lot of these bump ups here, you got to make sure that the story is not broken. And I think Kohl's makes a little bit of sense. Kohl's had some buyout rumors in the last little while, not last little while, but a couple of years. So we know that the business there in the retail could be looking for a Walgreens. WBA got bought out as well. So there are some actionable trades in the space, that's for sure. So maybe there is something here with Kohl's, and as that looks to break out again through 1350, that could be a hell of a trade here today for anybody interested. The other name that we were looking at earlier was Sydney Sweeney trade, which was right down here with AEO, and of course American Eagle Outfitters there announcing a deal with her, and I don't know what exactly entitles, probably just a modeling contract or something right there, but it looks like it does fall back in off of that $13 mark. And no matter what you think about different levels, here's 13 right here. This is what we wrote down on the sticky note today, was that if it's going to break through 13, not only do you have catalyst as we thought, but you also have a nice level. So we're gonna have to wait for American Eagle Outfitters, and hopefully that gets going off of some of those bases as well. NVIDIA's trying, man. It's not doing a whole heck of a lot though, but we did buy this 171. We're long right here at 171.80s, so we're still out 30 cents, which isn't great. Google continues to go lower as well, now breaking through 191. That's crazy. Like I had thought that 198 was in play today. I think a lot of us did, and it's just falling back in the complete opposite way. So.
I thought dip and rip 194 into
Yeah.
Well, I think I thought there would be a lot of resistance at 200, so I'd be skeptical on day one that it would break it, because I think we get disappointing ranges on a lot of these bigger names on the first day of earnings.
Yeah, first day sucks.
But no, I'm surprised. I'm surprised by Alphabet, and I do think I want to pick some shares up. I get some cash sitting on some. I sold my the only Google I sold, I put into Meta, which I'm happy with. But I remember when I did it, like a few days after, I was like, well, I probably could have sold something else instead. Palantir, I promise you, there was a bit of a seller at 154 a second ago, and when that happened, it made another lower high. I had instantly put a trail in the second I saw that come in there, and I put it right down. If it broke 153.90 to get out, Palantir is on one. And given what the market is doing, I can't see any way it's not testing that high. Next available dip, we're going to try and get into Palantir again, and Alphabet's finally breaking trend, and there it is. It's trying to break the trend line.
Oh,
so
no.
if it doesn't get to 190, I've been waiting for it to break this downtrend. 1, 2, 3 connections on the 3-minute chart for Alphabet, and we'll see. I mean, this would be the first time it looks pretty bullish. There's no great volume candle at that low, though. Like, it's weird. A lot of times when you're falling like this, when it's making that bottom, you'll get a big volume, like red volume candle, and then you'll break the trend. You're not even getting that here, which is typical of a capitulation bottom. So it's not feeling like a capitulation bottom, but it certainly is breaking the trend. I'm going to nibble in as it breaks the trend line, and if it closes above, then I can add. That's something I was doing. I missed, and getting in as it's breaking the trend line without the close, because of something that was happening on Palantir last week. Every time I'd go for that, if you didn't take it as it's breaking through, sometimes it would just be gone $1. And so you'd get nothing on the trend break. And then if it closes, I can add to it here if it closes this bar, and we'll see if we can get to the volume weighted average price, which is where I want to play this too. This trend is almost too ridiculous to think that we're going all the way to the top.
All right, so I was gonna go longer on Google again if we can break above 192.50. That's our average price right now. It has battled back nicely. So has NVIDIA right now. I mean, that's starting to bump up a little bit. We were trying to be as patient as we can. All of a sudden, this day is fine. We're gonna be red on the day here, but we are gonna try to wait to see if there is some momentum to get back into the upside right now on some of these plays. I mean, I'm okay buying. I was gonna say I'm buying into strength now for Google. It's a little bit of a different strategy. Instead of trying to catch the falling knives, we do buy a little bit there. We pushed along just a little bit there. Now, we break through 192.50. We did take a little bit more. We'd like to play the momentum back there. Now to the upside as the buyers have reemerged here now with Google. So yes, sir. Yes, Neil. Yes, finally, man. There it is. Yes, that's a good trade there. We don't normally average up into the trades, but we find the momentum. Here goes Google. Let's make this happy, happy, joy. As there goes NVIDIA right now back up to the upside as well, starting to go now as we just played a little bit outside of our comfort zone there. But, like I said, the market is forever changing, and you just can't sit there and be complacent with what you're doing, man. You got to change up your styles sometimes, and there it is. We did play the momentum. We were very, very patient. Instead of catching these falling knives continuously over and over and over again, we waited for a little bit of strength, and now let's start to execute more and more outs here on Google as we play that momentum back there to the upside. So hopefully we can get a play now where we can make that move back into VWAP 193, not 194, but a good little dip buy opportunity right there at 191. I wasn't going to do it, but we played that momentum through, and now we take a little bit of profit on that play and make some back here. That's a fact. Jack, says Mike P. Ryder, as we were talking about that a while ago as well. All right, I think we're waiting for Sharif. So we're going to head over to the desk, see what Sharif is up to.
My favorite segment of the day, guys. Small cap recap. Here's LIDR, the biggest mover in the market right now, 238%, putting in a lot of lower highs off that 480 top, but still maintaining its price above the volume weighted average price. Keep your eye out on that. And KSS, oh boy, here we go again with Kohl's up about 10%. Even Jim Cramer taking to Twitter saying, watch out, they're back. Time to cover for the Kohl's short sellers, I should say. SUGP as well, breaking above that dollar area into $1.19, but losing that dollar quick as you like. Be on the lookout for that, up 33%. IXHL started moving after the market yesterday, continuing the strength in the pre-market today with a $1.49 high. That's looking out to take the $0.50. And then Faraday Futures, FFAI, back on the scene. I was trading this one late last week, maintaining its price, boys, above the volume weighted average price, 3 2/3 high of day.
Hey, Faraday back in play as well. I do want to check back in on open in a quick little second, but that first dollar just pulled back in on Google. But look, to me, it's broken the trend, and that's a pretty hefty up candle. I want to try to buy back into the 192. At this point, stop moves. Once it gets 93, stop moves to like this prior bar high. So just underneath 191.68 is going to be the out for me on Alphabet. So I'll be buying back out in front of it if we can get it and playing into 194. Why not VWAP? Because my level today on Google was 194 and 190. So if I like it for support, I like it for resistance on a reversion back to the upside. So that's the play, at least what I'm going to be looking at here. Tesla's headed back into the south side, but I said I wanted to look at open door. It's almost at $3. $3 was the go zone 2 days ago. For anyone that was trading a couple of days ago, you're going to remember what happened. Well, maybe if you were trading open door, you'd remember at the $3 level. It was a huge bounce on that 4 short, and then when it lost it in the afternoon, it was afternoon resistance. So $3, the even dollars are just levels on open. I'm going to be looking for that short as it comes in. Any break of trend or a fail break at 3 even, and I want to look to hit the short over there.
Okay, guys, trade the pool right now. With Trade the Pool swing programs, you can access up to 40,000 in buying power to trade real shares, not CFDs. You can hold positions overnight, hold over the weekend, and enjoy limited risk thanks to one-time evaluation fee, no monthly payments, no hidden costs. Take Vicente there, for example, one of Trade the Pool's swing traders. Congratulations, Vicente. He's already locked in over $23,000 in profits. His top performer, NMAX. Wow, good job, Vicente there. You shorted it from April 20th to May 30th and pulled in $6,700. Trade the Pool is a swing trader for the tools, capital, and everything to thrive as a prop trader. Scan the QR code today to enjoy your 10% off. And there's that QR code right there. And again, just some different individual names there. What up to Vicente and company right there as he makes a nice trade. All right, so we've got some nice trades happening right here as well as NVIDIA making its way back upside. We're going to skim some out of NVIDIA right now as we go upside. We have Randy coming. He's going to be bringing us some coffees pretty soon, so that's going to be good. And there goes Google again. Yes, sir. It is now into that dollar club range, nicely cooking now to the upside as we bought that strength right there, and now we watch it go back up to the upside as we pretty much make everything back right there. I don't know about you today, but I'm going to be red so far here, waiting for these names to get back to the upside and really just sort of suffering a little bit of those downside plays, but happy to hold on to Google here moving forward.
Yeah, 1 for 3 with Palantir being flat because Palantir's about to break that. Palantir's going to break 155. I don't know if you have your order out there.
I don't.
So 1 for 3, but at the end of the day, nothing was as good for me as Open was because Open was my best stock yesterday. Google needed to hold that 194 because I was more aggressive at my level at 194 than anywhere else. But it's fine. It's going to get back up. I shouldn't speak in certainty. It's headed back up to the 194 level. I am still covering it out in front because this is the big level for me. And just going back over to Palantir and Grunfeld, we will look at QuantumScape. There's a lot of earnings names that are not getting traded. You literally cannot trade all of them. But Palantir about to go, that can't be right. Palantir just hit the high that it's not green. Oh, because it closed exactly at the highs? Okay, so Palantir closed exactly at the high, so technically it's not green yet on Palantir. When I see this, I'm like, oh yeah, that's the aftermarket. So Palantir almost green. There's been no dip at all since it held that 153. It did a nasty liquidity grab, by the way. It just feels like this one's off to the races. 155.7 is the all-time high. I still want to be long before that. I'll wait for a pullback into 154. If there was resistance there early, I'll look for support because VWAP is now a full percentage away on Palantir. It's absolutely fine. There's no question about its relative strength. And yes, QuantumScape, usually I would have lost that bet. I thought QuantumScape was going to be the biggest percentage mover yesterday, just because it's short flowed and the nature of the beast here. If you had told me that QuantumScape would move less than IBM percentage-wise, I would have lost money, or I'd be eating like a pineapple pizza or something nonsense like that. But I did say it's not going to be flat, so I don't have to worry about that one. It's flying to the upside. It's a squeeze play. It was down on earnings, even though they technically beat. They actually lost less money than expected, so it was down, and it is now squeezing to the upside. If you do break 14, things get very hairy for the shorts, as that's the big resistance level of the last couple of days. So it's still inside move for QS here, so I wouldn't get too caught up with it, trying to go for it. It's still well under the expected move. It was expected to move like 15%. It went down 6 and is now up 3. So very much inside of a chop range. A break of 14 would look a little bit more interesting there. So Alphabet's trying to go. Opens almost at 3, everybody. And Palantir, I'm moving my dip buy. Now we got to look for the 154 instead of the volume weighted average price.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a pullback there in Google, like we had just said there. We're starting to get some out there at the 50-period moving average. We don't have to wait around for this name to go. We've already taken some hits on this, so just be able to scam. Why keep saying scam? Skim out of some of these would be a good one. EWJ. Yesterday we had that big deal with Japan. Again, the greatest deal of all time, and today's still up again. EWJ. So I was trying to hold out for some of these levels. We looked at Toyota Motors yesterday. That was a play that had come in to the upside one more time there. Looks like I was just trying to watch out for NVIDIA, because maybe we are starting to pull back a little bit here, as the Nasdaq does not want to get anywhere really near view up or the 50-period moving average. Again, right there, the S&P 500 does hit record highs. The Dow yesterday as well. Market volume above the 20-period moving average yesterday of over 19 billion. So I think that's a lot of that is due to stocks like Opendoor and some of these other names that obviously are just pumping through big pieces of volume every single day. So we're going to have to watch out for some of these names continuously going. I mean, there's Opendoor. A lot of you are trading Opendoor, so know everything about this name. But $3 looks like it wants to break. Look at that straight line upside right now on Open. So congratulations anybody that's on this name, as it continues to work out for everybody there. It looks like there's a buyer chasing this name up. There goes Opendoor right now. Another name we talked about, KSS. Kohl's starting to go as well. That's straight up. So these meme stocks, although yesterday we didn't necessarily trade them that well with Donut and BBAI, but they are trying to go a little bit today. Big Bear AI falls off of that $8 mark again there yesterday. VIX probably making a little bit of a move around today. We can have a quick look. It looks like it's down 2% here today for the VIX. Down 2% right there. So we can, we can have a quick little look. We want to close that little Forex window. But there it goes here. If we look at let's look at a 5-minute chart here for the VIX. So yeah, starting to move lower here as the market seems to want to go higher. So it's all making sense there with the VIX, and again, down 2.5%. So with this market just floating around, I think there might be some good value at some point here to pick up said VIX at some of these levels, just because of the strength that we've been seeing in the overall market lately. Good time to maybe hedge into some strength there or some weakness in the VIX to try to get that back again right there. The trade deals, we still wait for EU and for China, but despite all of that, we can see what's happening with the S&P 500. Yeah, in Canada, yeah, the largest trade partner. Yeah, we got to make sure that we do have Canada mentioned in there as well, so we'll see if they can get something going there. But there's the SPY, and here's what we're talking about right now. Still green, still at all-time highs. So yeah, lots of economic drivers today, but again, mainly waiting on Trump. He tends to speak around noon hour. So we do have our midday show. The boys will be covering everything Trump related, obviously. On
the visit too as well, right? Like this, it's unprecedented, this visit to the Fed and what it could possibly mean. It's just
right.
It's just more of the shakeup of, I don't know. Other people would use the term intimidation, but obviously the president's voicing his disagreement with the path that they're taking. I don't know. Was he going to go for a tour? Is he actually going to talk to them? Like who? That's the thing that gets me. We don't really know what's going to happen at 4 o'clock. Which, with that uncertainty, is it going to be a press conference? I have no idea. He's just visiting the Fed, and I don't know any details. Yeah. But no president's even gone there before because it's supposed to be separate. But anyways, we'll find out. And we haven't talked about earnings after the bell. I'm going to look at one of those names in just a second, but I got to point out, the second this, I can draw you another trend line from the bottom on Alphabet, but suffice to say it broke it and then lost a prior bar, so that trailed me out, but it's right back in. I'm inclined to not wait for the low. If it reestablishes 93s, then I'll jump in here and jump back into the long on Alphabet. But for now, I did trail out of it. Palantir broke 155 very briefly. It's back. It actually didn't really fall very far. I'm still waiting for 154.
Oh, it did break 155.
It broke 155, but then like instantly came right back in. If it can hold above, I don't want to be taking the all-time high break. It's just a random number, 155.70. So if it ends up closing above 155 and taking that high again, the second time through, I might take the second break, but I'm still looking for the dip buy into the prior high. Like my bid's out there in front of 154, but if it breaks a second time, that way I can still be long going into the all-time high as opposed to taking that breakout trade. Open, are you gonna go to 3? Maybe not. Maybe this does not want to go to $3 before turning. That's already a trend break on open. All right. I'm going to put I always put the stop in first, and I will never stop doing that because it saved me on Coles. I don't know, so Coles at the open, it was up a bajillion% and went to you know when the instant up halt, it's going to at the open, and we like that trade? So I went to go long on the up halt. But I put my stop first in case it didn't halt.
Right, that's a good move.
It didn't halt.
Right, I think
I got a 4-cent hit on Coles, and it dropped like $7 instantly.
Yuck.
It was the greatest fill ever. I was like, I cannot believe that I didn't even get slipped there because it dropped like a rock. But that's why you have a stop order when you're going into a stock like this. So I already have my stop. Open is broken trend, but it's like 91 is the high. So if it breaks 92, I'm out. We'll look for the volume weighted average price. Ooh. I had more shares, I thought, at 87 because I don't like going all the way down to 85. But I did not get filled there.
Yeah, I do.
So I'm just going to leave the orders in at 85. Palantir starting to pull back, and we might get that dip buy.
Alibaba, nice move there as well here. So that's a good one, man, up to 123. We'll have to wait to see what happens with Alibaba, of course, and that was rest his soul. But what was it? Charlie Munger really did like this name, so we'll have to wait to see when and if that comes into play there for us. Yeah, Alibaba, nice move up there to 123 and change, still trying to go. Google not, again, back into 192.50, so that was that punch level that we had there, and we had done pretty good getting out of it as we played momentum back there to the upside. We'll have to wait to see if it wants to go. You're already on Palantir. We like that play. I did like the 155 break, but I'd taken too many breaks, so we did not take that one, although it is pulling back in nicely right now, so we'll have to wait for that. I think we should have just punched. I mean, I know you just talked about open door and everything like that. This $3 break, you know, could be something again there on open door, so I think that that's something to look out for and think positively about, because we could get that right there on open door. So that would be a good little break level for sure. But yeah, all right, let's go back over, I think, to Neil, and we'll talk about one of our sponsors.
Let's talk about eSignal, everybody. First month is still free. So whether you want to pull up a hot list and see what's moving, Soxel, AMD, Amazon are at the top of mine right now. Google's right there as well. Or maybe you want to test out some new strategies like Bollinger Bands or moving average crosses, whatever it is. It's an easy to use and reliable platform, and you can try it out for the first month free with eSignal. You can trade directly through multiple brokers. You have API access, so you can automate your trades. You can look at the level 2. I happen to have Broadcom up here. Man, that even pulled back as well. Been a nasty one for some of these longs. I just have my trade rate up so you can see what's moving the fastest. Tesla up here, the Qs. ETH, we'll take a look at ETH at some point because that's an SBET both popping up the list. We know Bitcoin isn't moving much, but hey, that's why you want something which is going to give you those hot lists. So shout out to eSignal. Scan the QR code you see out in front of you. 1 month free. Really? Yeah. Can you go wrong with that kind of a price? You don't like it, you don't have to stick with it. And it's entitlement based, so you can add the entitlements that you want. Look at the markets you want and nothing more, nothing less. I love that kind of an a la carte platform. So you're not paying for a bunch of crap you don't need, right? So shout out to eSignal there. And I have to check. It's not often that we see ETH popping up on that list. So, oh yeah. See, this is why you want a hot list. Bitcoin doing, it's not like it's not moving, it's kind of moving, but breaking out the highs on volume is ETH as we speak. Don't know why, but it's happening, everybody. So there you go. Live, it was nowhere near on that hot list. It popped up. You see it breaking out those highs. Clearly, if I had, instead of finishing talking about eSignal, if you had just gone right over when I saw that pop in, you could have had at least a few shekels out there taking the break of the high. I'm not going to chase it, but I can tell you, open, I did get that fill up at 87. So I'm going to play this into the volume weighted average price.
Doing something here.
It is a super, super strong name, obviously. So any pullbacks are always to the volume weighted average price in this particular case.
All right, we're starting to go, man. We do have a new position alert right now. We have Amazon. Amazon was a name that we were looking at. It does fall back in. We're going to take the long here against a 200 period moving average. Let's wait to see if it goes, man. I mean, the market really needs to get going here. I mean, NVIDIA's just had a nice move. Let's take some more out at 42 if we're lucky enough to get it. We just got a 48 and realized that it just bounced again off VWAP and the 200 period. So we are getting out. We just got, we didn't get that 42. We got two fills out here, one at 45, one at 50s or so, right back into VWAP. So we'll take some out at 33s. Can we get some 33s here or not? Right there for NVIDIA. There it goes. Did we get that? No, we did not. For NVIDIA. So let's see if it wants to continue to go as the market's trying to break through right now, VWAP. So, what's been a good day here for many of the names. We can look over at Home Depot and some of these housing names as well. 376 and change now for Home Depot. So this one not moving around. The volume's not quite there right here for HD. The big play that we liked before was Broadcom. So AVGO right here, 285 and change. There goes Broadcom. Again, move down, right? We all thought that off of that move yesterday in the CapEx play for Google, that Broadcom, because we know that they're in a lot of deals there with Google, helping them sort of fabricate, manufacture some of those chips. More money coming into the place, but looks like AVGO wants to go to the other way as well. But that SBET, as we just heard in our ear, of course, continues to go. And this is that Ethereum trust play. So there goes 27.35, 27 and change. Right now, breaking higher goes SBET. BMNR, what's up to Tom Lee and everybody else over there as well, as we watch out for this. BMNR trying to go upside here as well. So yeah, a little bit of a violent day here for Ethereum and whatnot. It doesn't look like we have much going on in Bitcoin, but it looks like we're trying to actually, I take that back, 119 right now for BTC, looking like it wants to go. I got to reopen up another chart as I've lost one over here.
I'm going to refresh. I always find with my Binance charts, I have to refresh it on Bitcoin. Because sometimes I'll just leave it open, so I always have the price, and then I'll go back to it and realize it wasn't, we're at 118 again because I didn't refresh it after multiple days. But very quickly, that SBET, I don't know if you pointed out, but this actually has some room. Remember, make sure you're following what's going on with ETH if you happen to be looking at SBET, because you wouldn't want ETH to pull back heavily and then you're not banking some profit. So I would make sure you keep that for sure. Just one quick note on Open, because I wanted to say something about the chips. Open just bounced off 75, so the trend break, it happened at the high, playing back into the volume weighted average price. Remember, this is a squeeze name against the grain, so I have my targets out. If it breaks 75, I move my stop from the high of the day to at least this 85 area, the break-even spot where it broke the trend. But it needs to break down first to make that change. And I did want to point out in Chipland, well,
like that.
So you see that bounce that you're getting in the market? You know the bounce that you're getting in NVIDIA right now? This is the bounce that you're getting in Intel. They report tonight. They're down 2%. There is something to be said about when it's been really, really bad. Could it possibly get any worse? They're golden crossing this if it even holds here like 1 or 2 more days. This is a pivotal moment for Intel. That being said, every report's been bad. One kernel of strength, and I think this thing could get up to 28, 29 bucks. But it hasn't happened yet. If they disappoint, you're waiting for 18, 19 like you always have been. But looking for excuses for this to have bottomed out, it's having trouble breaking off the low even as we speak. And Rivian Millionaire in the chat, what up, Rivian Millionaire? We appreciate all our viewers, but long-time viewer, we love you. Block back at $80. Good news, yeah, Block's back at $80. Bad news, yuck. Look at the pullback on this thing. This was a buy program basically at the open. Maybe it was just like a buy and bounce or something. And then right back to resistance at 80. So like the open, it just went parabolic, it looks like, and then faded 81, and then right back into 80, and it can't seem to break away from 80. Added to the S&P 500, it's flat. The good news is it's really holding on to the gap since the news that it was going to be added. So there hasn't been a sell the news event, but it's just consolidating in here. I want to see it break out of this consolidation before I do anything. I traded off the 80 level yesterday. I'm not that inclined to do it again, but it's doing much better than, say, Datadog did after they were added. And a lot of times you'll see this. We saw it with Uber way back when, but certainly over here when Datadog got its nod into the S&P, gapped up, lost support, and then filled in the gap before bouncing again. I don't think you're out of the woods yet with Block for that sell the news because it's just going sideways.
All right. I'm just trying to do the same stuff as we've been doing here. I mean, the reason why we're going long on Amazon is we had that huge cloud number from Google. We had AWS going back up to the upside. As we know, they've been successful. You've seen Microsoft as well. And then there's the pullback in for Amazon right off the 200 period moving average. And I actually should be long down here at 230.50 instead of 230.80 where we are long at. But we don't even have a good price, man. So while we came back up into 231 and change, we got some out in the 10s and whatnot, but this could definitely make that move down even more here off Amazon, especially if the market does fail. So this is going to be the last sort of straw for me. If we do come back in into 230 and change, we will take that right now. So on AMZN, we're going to average in to this trade if we're lucky enough to get that. We're going to let NVIDIA try to chill out a little bit as well. I mean, look, man, I'm trying to do the same thing as all of us. We can have a quick look at some of these crypto names moving around here today as we had a huge move up, and I was actually debating selling some Solana there, got north of 200, now at 187. We had XRP up near that 350 level, I believe, is how high we went up. Yeah, we got as high right there as 355 for XRP, so that was a play there. She could have got out. Now you're down about 10% from there, down to 320, so down 30 cents, that's 10%. Dogecoin as well, that's actually held out pretty good. I believe the high for Doge was around 27 or so-ish. Yeah, 27 and change. So everything pulling back about that 10%. As you can see, we've already talked about Ethereum right now. That's still up that 8% over the last 7 days. You know, really matching Solana. Dogecoin still outperforming. Cardano flat over the last 7 days. They got into $1, I believe, or so for Cardano. No, not that high there. 88, I think. Was the high. So yeah, they're all pulling back 10% there. So as some of these crypto names continue to pull back in, you know, I don't know enough about any of these other coins, but maybe some of you guys do. Put in the chat there what coin you guys like, if there's anything down here that, you know, may tickle your fancy in those areas, because really I'm just in all of the big ones. I still do have Ethereum. I'm still in Ethereum. I don't have the coin. I have ETHH here in Canada. So I bought that as soon as
first
that was
ETF
listed. Yeah, first ETF, and Ethereum's still down from when that ETF got listed. This is what's been happening in the market overall today. Not much weakness, man, except for this guy right there, Tesla. Right now, Tesla going downside pretty nicely right down 8.4%. But if you're looking broad market, man, Berkshire, you guys know that we like some Berkshire, so shout out to everybody that's been buying that on dips. We like that play there as well. Amazon, Walmart, both upside. Costco down, which is kind of interesting there as well. McDonald's down today as we had weakness in Chipotle, CMG. Of course, Apple flat. You know, I'm trying to dip by some Apple as well. Google up 1.3%, but it doesn't feel like that, does it? As Google's been only downside, it seems like, all day, and including right now, as there goes Google again, turning around. So we're not going to average into this, man. If this breaks 191, that's the low of the day. I think we can hold it all the way back there. It's not going to kill my net one way or the other, but what's been really helping it out, and we're going to go green right there. It's going to be pretty much your number one P&L name here, show wide, is going to be NVIDIA, because we've been holding out hope that this name wants to go back to the upside, and there goes NVDA right now. So a nice shot there for NVIDIA moving higher for us here today. My number one P&L name, obviously, is going to be NVIDIA. Well, Amazon actually right now, but okay, we do have an interview to get to.
We do.
So Brendan's ready to rock and roll.
Ready.
It's going to be a good one. Let's go over to the desk and find out what's up with our interview of the day.
Back in the crypto spectrum once again, Sunny Ray is president of Matador Technologies. MATA is the ticker on the TSX Venture Exchange here in Toronto. Recent listing. Sunny, first of all, welcome. It's great to have you here. Why don't we start with a little bit of an overview of the company itself and a little bit of a backstory here. Wonderful to have you.
Yeah, it's nice to be here. Thanks for having me. So Matador isn't just a company, it's more a movement. Think of us as a MicroStrategy of Canada. We are not just holding Bitcoin as a treasury asset, but we're also building on top of it. And we believe that Bitcoin is the hardest money the world has ever invented. And as a result, we're going all in on it.
You, the company, recently raised $100 million in convertible note facility through ATW Partners. Why, I guess, why now is the right time for the funding round? And where do you see this going to?
Yeah, so with ATW, we're really excited about that partnership. You know, we don't just see them as a source of capital or investor, we see them as a strategic alliance partner. What this does is it really aligns the two groups in a way such that we can achieve our goal of getting to 1,000 BTC by next year. And we stated recently that we'd like to get to 6,000 BTC by 2027. And what this opportunity does, it really opens up the doors for us to be able to achieve that goal in short order.
Yeah, give us a little more detail, I guess, when it comes to the partnership itself. I mean, you talked a little bit about the company's plan of getting to such a lofty amount. What does ATW specifically, provide in that?
Yeah, so we chose this convertible note mainly because it's smart money. It aligns with our growth and our overall mission of accumulating Bitcoin on the balance sheet.
Right.
And it does it in a way that is minimally dilutive to our shareholders and also allows us to really increase our Bitcoin per share, which is one of our key metrics.
Right. When it comes to this world that we're living in now, where this has become so popular and so heavily talked about, what can investors really take from the company's message, and what do you say to the investors themselves to tell that story and give them reason to jump on board too?
Yeah, look, I mean, I've been in the Bitcoin space for nearly 12 years. I started India's first Bitcoin exchange. I had an opportunity to work for companies like Kraken, and I've really had a chance to see the Bitcoin price go from $10 to it's $150,000 today, and my resolve for this industry has never been higher. And I think what we're seeing now is we're seeing not just nation states adopt, Bitcoin, like we've seen in El Salvador, what we're seeing happen in the US. We're not just seeing Fidelities and the BlackRocks of the world adopting Bitcoin, but now we're starting to see public companies en masse realizing that Bitcoin is really the future of money.
Yeah.
And so when you look at us, we are big fans of what MicroStrategy is doing, what MetaPlanet in Japan is doing. In fact, one of our main backers is David Bailey, Donald Trump's Bitcoin guy.
Sure.
And we believe that we have the right team to kind of not just attain the goals of accumulating Bitcoin, but what makes us unique is that we also believe in building on top of Bitcoin.
Right.
So we're building real-world assets on top of Bitcoin.
So much focus was placed on what happened in Washington over the past couple of weeks with some of these bills getting through. What does it mean, from the industry standpoint? What does it mean in your perspective? Finally seeing this regulatory infrastructure and this regulatory stance being put into place.
Oh, it's a dream come true. I mean, 12, 13 years ago, we were the ones getting uninvited from family dinner parties.
Yeah.
People would laugh at us. But today, to see, again, the top institutions in the world adopting Bitcoin en masse gives us a tremendous amount of confidence that, we're on the right path.
Yeah, I was having a conversation with someone this week, actually, and he kept bringing up the point of the simple fact that, when it was 50,000, when it was 60,000, people were saying, this is crazy, it's never going to go higher. It's doubled since then. Why doesn't it double from where it is today? Even, how do you make that argument or against that argument at this point?
Exactly.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't feel the need to sell it as much anymore. I feel like it's on people to explain to me why they think it won't succeed. In fact, I think the fact that Bitcoin's come so far is amazing, but we really believe we're in the first inning right now. We think that Bitcoin's just getting warmed up.
Yeah, so I mean, the company has lofty goals here. You mentioned a couple, 6,000 Bitcoin by 2027, aiming to become a top 20 corporate holder globally.
Yes, sir.
What do you want to leave investors with as we continue here?
Yeah, another, I think, very unique thing about our business is that about 10 months ago, we also recognized that there's a clear and present opportunity in the Indian market. So last year, I believe the top performing stock in the world was Metaplanet.
Right.
So we're taking a page out of their book, and we've recently seeded a company called HODL Systems in India, which Matador owns 24.9% of. And we believe that that will also be a tremendous market.
It's growing for sure. I mean, we've had months on this show where India jumps up to our third largest audience. So you're speaking to a lot of them right now.
Okay.
So you're in the right spot.
Okay.
So yeah, there you go. A little bit more details on the deal here for Matador. Check them out, guys. MATA, the ticker, TSX Venture Exchange, MATAF. For our friends south of the border on the OTC market. Sunny Ray, president of Matador Technologies. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Very much to Sunny there.
There you go.
We're all on.
Professional.
Yeah, explain to me why we're not breaking out. You can say, we've been talking about it for the day trade. We're looking at Bitcoin versus ETH, and a lot of times that's what happens when Bitcoin makes a big, massive rally is you get the alts going and Bitcoin goes sideways. But last I checked, when you look at the daily, on Bitcoin. I'm not a charter market technician, but we know consolidation.
Sorry. That was me.
We know consolidation when we see it and a potential breakout looming. What I love about this is there hasn't been a retest of the prior breakout high. It's just holding a higher, and that's always a bit of a good sign. Coming back to the market, I got out of Palantir, but one thing that we didn't really discuss is, look, Tesla obviously missing everywhere on their earnings. Rivian down on sympathy just broke through some pretty decent support here. Rivian catching some strays here potentially from that Tesla report as it's down 3.5% in its own right. Tesla down 9%, obviously, but they're the ones that reported earnings. So not a very good look here for Rivian at all. But I did want to show Palantir. There was no particular catalyst for Palantir. That said, sometimes Palantir liquidity grabs and then just goes up for a couple of days. So with liquidity grab the bottom. It did just resist 155. So on a 15-minute chart, like look at this, it's just resisting the 155. I think continue to buy the dips and something that's holding the trend to the upside pretty much since about 10 o'clock and that opening range was set. The other thing that's going on, everybody, is you've got OKLO breaking highs. The thing you got to consider about that, all of that CapEx spend for Alphabet was like the nuclear names, the power names, right? So now OKLO not necessarily directly related. The bigger boys are going to move on that, but squeezing up 13%. Alphabet's a rising tide, and the capital spend of the big hyperscalers, and we'll get a few more of them with Microsoft and Amazon later. That spend is going to help these stocks, and it's going to make the shorts start to quake. And that's what's happening on OKLO. And you saw that. We saw it yesterday. GV had good earnings and they broke higher. But OKLO 52-week highs as it continues to go. This is the play that works, especially when we got the numbers that we got. A big surprise on CapEx spend with Alphabet. It was like 85 versus they were expecting 70. They had 75 previously. So big move. OKLO is squeezing to the upside. I could have held on to Open Door. I had this one to the short side, but I moved my stop to break even. I'm now out of that one. A mean reversion play. With those squeeze plays, I don't want to sit there thinking that every time you've got the top, when it came right back in, held the prior high, I'm jumping out at break even. I'll look for another opportunity there. It could easily be done for the day, but I'd want to see it either fail under VWAP or wait for another test of that big and crucial $3 area.
All right, just looking around, we can upgrade our season seats for the hockey here.
Ooh.
Well, we have 2 seats that aren't the greatest and 4 seats that are, so we're thinking about doing that one. But yeah, shout out Matador there. Great interview. Thanks, Brendo, for all of that. But let's go Let's go right now. So NVIDIA, big time positivity right now happening for your boy here on NVIDIA as it continues to climb higher right there. Now taking down 173. There it goes, man, 171.50. This is now $1.50 in the money. We're good to go on that one. And the newest position. Let's go, man. It's Amazon. We talked about this one. We like this trade. Get me out at 9. I'm waiting at 19s. I don't know. We can't get filled there, but that's me sitting there. Out there we go. We get it. Nice move up there for 19s now as we dip by in to Amazon. And as the market now finally gets going, it'll be actually a pretty good day after all. You know, we'll wind up losing there on Google, which is fine. But at the end of the day, 2 for 3. Up on NVIDIA, down on Google, and obviously Amazon continues to be king right there for me as well. So pretty good day overall. I want to say to everybody, thank you so much for coming by and hitting the like and hitting the subscribe button for us over and over again. You guys do it every day, and it means a lot as we go through renovations right here. We want to thank you all for putting up with sometimes our mics are a little bit off or whatever, but there it is right there, 957. Let's see if we can get this to 1,200 real quick, man. Over 7,500 of you watching right now. And you know, we know it's summertime and it can be a little bit slow for that, but hit the like, hit the subscribe, and thank you to everybody. Oh boy, Neil, now we're really starting to go, man. This is turning out to be what a day here as there goes Amazon again. Wow, you never know. Like, we didn't have Amazon on our radar here today. We should have because of the cloud, and there it goes. But nicely traded there as it comes right back now to the upside. So go NVIDIA, go Google, go Amazon. Right now in total, 250 in the money. So these 3 positions, I know Neil's flat, but we're 250 in the money right now. We'll be, like I said, we'll be slightly red because of Google today, but overall, pretty good day. And I hope that you guys are able to take some trades with us there, as it's been a pretty good one over here with only 45 seconds left. Good day overall, man. I'd say pick up some VIX if you're worried about anything.
Yeah, I'm thinking about picking up some Google myself. I just want to quickly go to this IPO that's halted. It's a very, 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 very small IPO, $6 million. I know people are like, hey, LHAI is halted again. It's halted 3 times since opening up, and it's done less than 500,000 shares. So just understand liquidity is the reason it's halting, and liquidity is non-existent. I'm not touching this thing. The tap is currently $13, so it's indicating it's going to open higher one more time in there. So you've got to be... If you have a strategy that works for this, fair enough, but I can't remember an IPO that halted 3 times and still hadn't even done 1 million shares in volume, but that's because it was literally 6 million at issue at $4. It's a triple up. No one ever went broke taking profit. That's all I got to say with that bad boy. Just be careful. Be careful out there. Those stocks can be crazy. What is going, and we talked about this with Bitcoin, ETH continues to rally. That's at highs and just continuing to go. I'm a little bit surprised that with ETH going, Circle is down 5%, but the anchored VWAP from the low, not the recent low, but from the actual bottom, is about 190 on Circle. So with ETH going, this is about to test the anchored VWAP all the way from the first day of trade on Circle at 190. I'm going to look for a bounce off that 190 level, so long as we still have some momentum going out there in ETH. It is 11 o'clock, everybody, so we'll be back at 2. We got to throw you on over. We got Joey options, we got Sharif and IPA. Ooh, it's going to be a warm day today. Wouldn't be a bad day to get an IPA. So let's go over to Joey options and the professor Sharif. Go get them, boys.
Pink sheets.